I think this is us. Lovely. In your own time, Twitch. Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Hello, everyone. Joined by Washi again. Here we go. I just need to do a little announcement. Oh, Discord. That's what I forgot. Discord. There we go. Where am I? Schedule. Schedule. Perfect. Oh, no, I didn't mean to do that. Excellent. Done. Bum, da. Okie dokie. Let's fix the Some of You Ventures grapes. And we'll just hang on a little bit until people want to come in and get their book on the go. And this will be a good means of testing. Hello, traveler. Good to see you, my friend. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Back in shores for a little bit. Likewise. Thank you. Thank you. Always a pleasure. You are well? Good. Good. I've been enjoying Final Fantasy XIV. You'll probably be happy to hear. Very much so. I sent you the message about what our plans are for that as well. I loved it. When Steady suggested it, I thought, okay, now I have a goal. There is a goal to this game, and I can't wait. So that's what we're aiming for. We want to get our own little story corner on the go. You are happy to hear. It's been great. And I know at least one other person that watches my streams on the YouTube side. Just scrolls. They ended up downloading the free trial to give it a go as well. So they're now into Final Fantasy XIV as well. And then somebody else got hooked in by it. That I can't remember who it was. I can't remember if it was somebody from Brighter Shores or somebody else that just came into my stream. Now that I recall, or the fact that I don't recall. I know, actually, redo the. But no, a couple of other people were starting to play Final Fantasy XIV out of it as well. So we might have a little friendly Final Fantasy XIV community to play about with. That'll be good. So, good times all round. Good times all round. Nice. It is nice. I must admit, I was wrongly nervous about changing games. I shouldn't have been as nervous as I was. It was fine. It was absolutely fine. And still no view counter worries or anything like that. It was quiet yesterday when I started, but I was just into the game and enjoying myself. It's a weird transition to have in this. It means I can actually focus on things that I want to do for the channel. I've gotten more stuff done for the channel than ever. I've nearly finished recording everything that I've wanted to for the 1984 book on YouTube as well. It's actually made me so much more productive. And I'm quite excited about the YouTube book. So it's been really, really good. It's been the kind of little boost that I need. To get it done. Is Cosmic still on? They just did a 24-hour stream. They need to go to bed. They're not streaming, I don't think. I didn't see them in the Brighter Shore streaming, but my goodness. I think he's off his rated kills earlier. Yeah, but look. I see Cosmology. Like, they're not streaming, I don't think, but they're still up and awake. Boy. Not for me. I'll leave them to it. Glad to hear you're really liking it. It's good fun. It's just jolly good fun. The story tidbits have been fun. I saw what people were saying. I was really enjoying the writing at the very beginning. There were some people warning me that they may have had some other not so great writers at sort of mid to or middling points of the first story, so just be ready for it. And I've come across a few moments it was actually quite difficult to read, but other than that, I've enjoyed myself. It's been fun. I just started to see how materia works, which was really good as well. But I must admit, I was ready for some more Brighter Shores. It was the pick-me-up I needed for enjoying this game again. Which is, you know, always a positive. You don't want to burn out. So, yeah. Good times. Good times. I haven't actually checked how Apache is doing. Although, I think the captain was saying there 1,450. We'll feed another one into it, shall we not? There we go. Dear God, what's up? What's happened? Apache Pop. Yeah, it's a big one again as well. This one's been a bit more stealthy though, Traveller, because I've been in Final Fantasy. And I know the first couple of days in Final Fantasy a lot of people were in, but that's because it got round that I had the 10,000 pop. But this one has been just, you know, slowly growing. See what happens. See what happens with it. But I don't think too many people know about it. I know Olerin knows about it, but they'll probably be sleeping right now. It's too rich for my blood. Yeah. The captain appreciates my position on the patchy picks though, so I'm going to remain as such. It kind of suits my. We were talking about it this morning as well. I was in the Captain Stream chat away to them, in the chat, not live, and we were both commenting on how it suits my channel, because my channel is sort of a dip in, dip out kind of channel. If people are in the mood for me, they come in. If they're not, they disappear to their favorite streamers and such. So it kind of works because it's a slow growing patchy pick as well. It lends to my wickedness as well, so it's been fun. We were talking about it a fair bit. Oh, there's Vorpal. Hello, Vorpal. I think they are live right now, so. Oh my goodness, this is just garbage. Come on, give me something. Soap. Really? Not the best. Not the best. Traveler, yeah. You do you for sure. That's one of the great things about Patchy. You can run the games as you wish. Kind of suits me doing it this way as well. Makes it a little bit quieter until it has that busy moment, and then I can enjoy that big, busy, rushing moment when suddenly everybody does want my pot because it's become large enough and perhaps a bit more worth the investment. Because if I am doing the reading and such, when people come in to hear me reading, having patchy picks very active and a lot of people gunning for it is distracting. So this way, it's much better. It's villainous. It's mean, I know, and I actually kind of rather enjoy that as well. You know, you've got to vent somewhere, and I will do it as such. But it suits me doing it in this manner. Keep it a little bit, keep it a little bit more quiet, a little bit slow rolling. So Guards Archive, give me info. Sid. How is it villainous? I have caught a few things out, people out, Traveler. Were you there? Were you still in Kel's stream when I caught out Sparty? I can't lie. I did deliberately hint at my pot to them, but I didn't tell them how much it was to bid. Yeah, so like example with Sparty, I told them how much my pot was worth, which was like I think 2,000 at the time. I didn't tell him it was 50 doubloons a roll. So he just came in and went PP5. He had no idea. It was oh so pleasant. I did clip it. I don't know if you've seen it or not. If you haven't, I can replay the clip if you wish. But Casey, ooh. Good luck, good luck. Yeah, good luck. We're here for the prize. Absolutely, Casey. Absolutely. You'll get no objection from me. I'm just grinding away here. We'll probably be reading some pages later. And you know, I'll see your broke wallets by the end of the night. Or who knows? Perhaps one of you will win. But thank you for the donations. That's another 500. It must be over 4K now, or just shy. Let's have a look-see, shall we? Open up the patchy page. 4K, bang on. 4,000. Nice. Nice. So, Deaton, peg leg, green trousers. Ooh. A new magnifying glass. Don't mind if I do. It's you I buy this from, isn't it? Excellent. Fountain of Delight. Guards Archive. Oh, okay, Guards Archive. What have we got? Generaler. There we are. Turn this up a little bit. There we are. You guys will have it all nice and quiet. I don't think anybody else noticed me come online with the pot, so... How's the grind, by the way? Cool and casual, because I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV as well, Unbae. Like, I'm definitely the NPC player. I'm level 850, nothing over 100 yet, although my detective's getting close, you know. It's fine. I'm just slowly enjoying myself without too much fuss. Keeping it nice and easy. Nice and easy going. There we go. Do the little merchant run, shall we? Because we can do Vestiaire Hall dining room as we're taking the candles to the soap. And I will grab candle and the pizza on the way. Perfect. I see. Don't need to be hardcore. No, not at all. I never went in any of the races. Never went into any of them. I'm here for the camaraderie, the social funs, and just enjoying the game at my own pace. It's been fun. Oh, did I just pass Losu? Oh, it's Sanhai. It's Sanhai. Okay. Hello, Shi. Hello, Sanhai. I realize you might not be there, but I like to say hello regardless. Hello! Oh, you were there. Hello, hello. Hello, Vorpal. I meet all the people in Chronopolis. Chronopolis is where it's at. Ooh, 4,050. Pick a number 7. Pasticcio as well. Guy's a glutton for the punishment. Good luck to you all. Oh, Pasticcio. 4 rolls. How is your guys' wallet? Are you all quite flush right now? Can you afford all this? I mean, I suppose it has been a while. You're poor. You're joking. You were like top 3, weren't you, at one point? Oh, right, you are still quite Only 11k. See, for you, it's a difficult balance, though. How long do you let the pot grow, and when do you try to steal it, if you can steal it before somebody else does? I would say your position, having lots of doubloons and being a contender for the front, actually makes it a little more daring, a little more scary. But do enjoy. I haven't actually checked the leaderboard in a little while. I'm assuming Naroda is still at the top. I've not been on the leaderboard in a long time. The sacrifices I make to make these beautiful pots for you all. And then I get called a villain for it. Atrocious. Sissy, I'll be able to afford these types of bets after I win this pot. Yeah. You know how many times I've heard that one? $10k plus, and then I might roll 5s. Yeah. It was, I think, got to 16? Or close and thereabouts last time, before it was 1. Oh, it is kind of nice to be back, though. I enjoyed my break, but it's good to be back playing a little bit of Briar Shores, not gonna lie. Maybe I'll actually get the 100 Detective. What I'm hoping is I will be doing something like the Dens, and then I'll kind of forget when I'm actually reading the book. Here we go. Scooch, scooch. We're not going to build this potshi unless you agree to PP5 with me and Casey. Oh. Pause jump. Oh. I don't know if Pastisio is willing to take the chance that somebody else steals it, Umbe. There will be others. There will be others when it slowly spreads around. There's about it's nearly 5k. It's 4,800 now. So Pastisio has the right idea. You fuel it a bit, spread the word a little, make everybody else suddenly fill the pot, and then you start making your big rolls again. It's all devilish. You call me the nefarious one, but well, I do kind of have the crooked ideas, but Big Blue, Jamie, and Boots. Big Blue, Jamie, Boots. There we go. Casey, Adunbe, 5 rolls.
Read me a
How are
page,
you
naughty boy.
two? Oh, Sea Potato. Thank you for the page. Thank you very much. I haven't started any of the reading yet. I was waiting for the usual people that enjoy the book reading. So you haven't missed anything if you've only just arrived. Hope you're well. Turnip Crew. Welcome, welcome. That's me, the usual people who enjoy the page reading. There's quite a few. I'll give it a little longer because I've only been streaming for 20 or so minutes. So I'll give it time for people that want to hear it to arrive. Just to make it fair, because a lot added the pages as well. But thank you very much for the page. We'll be getting started really soon. I've got some den raids that I can be doing while we read the book. Nice and easy, like. Nice and easy. Unbe, if you and Turnip are ever both live at the same time, you should try to get your views to fill it for you. I think it'd be difficult because I tend to stream quite late, and if I remember rightly, Unbe, you're... Oh, I've forgotten. You're like 2 or 3 hours ahead of me, I think it is. So... Phew. Yeah, you do quite a bit earlier. I could stream earlier tomorrow. I haven't actually planned anything for tomorrow, so... It's not out of the question. It's 11p here. Yeah, so it must be 2 hours. Yeah, it's 9 o'clock, so 2 hours. I'm not really a daytime streamer as well. Nobody in Britain wants to see me stream, so I kind of have to stream on the Canadian-American time. The Brits are sick of the Scottish, so... Villain's bedroom, Vester dining. Okay, hopefully we get something a little bit better for the servant's house. Oh, I still think you should get something for rolling 100. That's such a good roll. And maybe double your losses if you roll a 1. Wondrous Turnip PP5. Oh, I've been filling it, Unbabe. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. I've been filling it as well. I try not to win it, though. I leave it for other people to win, but I have been filling it. Believe me. I go around, I pinch a few pots here and there, and I build up my own doubloons. I am poor. I do not have much, and what I have right now is kind of saved for the next pot. Once it's won. Because I like to keep the big pots going. Sea Potato, I love how you stream late at night there, so the doggo is always asleep in that chair. There would be no difference, Sea Potato. Believe me. Pugs, they'll happily sleep 18 hours a day if you give them the chance. It can be quite difficult to get out to do more than 1 walk a day. There's 1 walk a day. He likes his midday walk and he gets excited for it. Everything else, he just doesn't want to do it. So even if I did daytime streams, he would be sleeping there. Absolutely. It's a little lazy sod. Hold on. I got a better camera so we can see him properly. There we go. There's my boy. And Pug's fur is so soft. Oh, it's so soft. The cutest little devils. And they are devils. They're mischievous in personality. He is so mischievous. So cute. I love it. He's my dream dog, Casey. Pug was my dream dog. And Wash has answered everything I could have wished for to have with a pug. Like, everything I could dream of what owning a pug would be like, he has answered it. He's cuddly. He likes to sit up on your lap. He likes to be cozy, warm. He's playful, and I've got nibblings, so I've got niece and nephew, and he's great with kids. You can leave him with kids for hours and hours and hours, and then the kids are entertained and he's entertained. It's so good. So good. Oh, it's PTD. Oh, they ran off before I could say hello. These are good. We'll get rid of this. Take that instead. Perfect. And it takes us to the servant's house as well. So we'll go grab our candles. You like golden retrievers? I had a golden Labrador. We had a golden Labrador, a chocolate Labrador, a black Labrador, and a Labradoodle all at the same time. We had all four. This is a fairly big house that I'm in, so it wasn't crowded. But we had the golden Lab had a little bit of retriever in him, so he was quite large. But he had the Labrador laziness. Golden retrievers like their sleep as well, but Labradors in particular are very lazy dogs. So I do like retrievers. I like retrievers, I like Labradors. Do you have a Labrador? When you say I like golden retrievers, do you have one? Or is this a dream dog yet to be? Ephraim! Hello, Ephraim. Oh, it is nice to be back and see people. I grew up with one, but he's passed. Oh, I'm sorry to hear it. But they instilled a love in you. If you still do love golden retrievers, they must have been a lovely dog. I've got fond memories of all my dogs. The only one that's kind of an exception was the Labradoodle. Her name was Carmen. She became a wonderful dog. Notice I used the word became. We kind of rescued her, and she was so difficult. She was actually tearing the family apart. She was so difficult. There was half of us wanting to get rid of her, half of us say, we can't, we've rescued her, we need to put in the effort. It's meant to be this. And we did end up keeping her, but it was like probably a full 18 months to 2 years of difficulty with her. She was really rebellious, rampant. She would tear things apart. She would egg on the other dogs to be mischievous as well. She would run away, get into all kinds of mess. But eventually we couldn't get rid of her. Couldn't get rid of her. She became a darling in our hearts, and she still kept that kind of mischievous streak, which we couldn't be without. And everybody who visited the house loved her. She was this big, fluffy dog that just attracted attention, as Labradors do. They're big, like fluffy dogs are usually something that are tiny and cute, and you go, no, too. But she had that kind of look about her, even despite being a large dog, and people just wanted to pick her up, despite the fact that she weighed like 25 kilograms. She was huge. So like kids would like to try and sit on her back to ride her and stuff. We had to keep telling them to stop. Like, dogs aren't designed to be saddled in that way. It hurt the poor girl's back. So she became this darling dog. Some of my friends wanted to steal her. My partner, before we were going out, she had met her and was ready to steal her as well. So she did become a darling dog in the end. You see, his name was Jake, and he was super sweet. You could drop the leash and he'd think he was still on it. Oh, that is sweet. He shed like crazy, though. Yeah, so did Rex. That was our big golden Labrador / retriever. He shed a lot. That might have been some of the retriever minimum, because the other Labradors, they did not shed like that. Labradors are big shedders, but the golden lab, oh my goodness, it came off thick and fast. Hello, Zan. How are you doing? Casey, dog hair everywhere. Tell me about it. Wash, actually, surprisingly, being a little dog, he's starting to shed quite a lot, but he's a fawn pug with a double fur coat, and it's that double fur coat which sheds. We've got one of those clawing de-shedding tools as well, but it can only do so much. And he's good for it. He'll sit kindly while we de-shed his coat, but oh, what a nightmare. If you wear dark clothing, if you're somebody who likes your black jeans and black tops, either you're a Hellraiser, you're into your metal, or maybe you like your little goth streak, Wash is not ideal for your clothing. Oh my goodness, no. He is a little fur baby, and he likes to leave his joyous little... Oh, it's 6,900 in the pot. Ooh. Very nice. Very tidy, guys. Well done. So, yeah. Wash, despite being a little pupper, he does de-shed quite a bit. Arbore grey hair sandals. There we go. Pink, pink. Guards Archive for Bill. Zan just been snooping and be back to 5k. Ooh. It's going down fast. Punishing yourself, Unbe. I appreciate it, but you're punishing yourself. Right, I'll do a couple more rounds of these bounties, and then I might start... Well, maybe somebody will win the patchy pot by then, but once we've done a few more rounds of bounties, we'll start reading out some of the book as well. I've come back to the shores mostly to catch up on some pages of that. Thank you, Sea Potato. I will add that. We're up to 16 pages, by the way. So 16 pages. Thank you ever so much. Hello, Red Rocky Man. Oh, Red Rocky Man. Was not your last 150 to spend? Okay, it's definitely over 7,000 now. Risk versus reward, though. Yeah, that's why I have this pot. That's why I have this pot. It needs it. It's a leaderboard disruptor. It's there to kill. Might want to pin the thing about how to get the pages. Oh, absolutely, Sea Potato. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll collect the bounties that I want first. So usually good. Take that one as a maybe. And I'll leave that to cycle through while I type it up. Excellent idea. So, redeem 300 turnips for 1 page. Follow for 1 page. Or subscribe for 5 pages of a study in Scarlet. Sherlock Holmes. I've also done as well with the subscription thing. I've actually put a target up, although it's quite a ridiculous one. I'll probably adjust it, but I've decided that if I get a certain amount, I'm actually going to do a stream in my kilt. That's how I'll reward people. I will stream kilted up. And I mean the proper kilt, the full one that's over the shoulder, not the little dressy one that just goes around the waist. The big thing. The whole belted plaid. That's what I'm gonna do for anyone who would like to see such a thing. I haven't seen you much, Sea Potato. Yeah, I'll leave. I'll Sea Potato did answer, taking a break from Brighter Shores. Yeah, I hadn't seen Sea Potato much either, Zan. And I'd asked about that earlier as well. It's just people needing a break. Pasticio, I'm gonna be broke. How much have you got left, Pasticio? There we go. Fill in storeroom, first hallway, and then I need to teleport back anyway, so we've got another check at this. We will do Henderson's meat, so we can just drop that one off as we go by. Oh, Pasticio. Do it. Spend it all. Every Turnip viewer becomes broke eventually. It's inevitable. Well, I usually... And I create a single rich person, Sea Potato. I create 1%ers. I make one rich person a pot. Unless they've already got it before. Zan won the last one, Unbay. They actually won the big pot. Actually, Zan, where's the leaderboard? Could this put you on top? 7,000, yes. Yeah, or it's at 8,000 now. It's at 8,100. It would actually be enough to put you on top, Fozan. Zane. I keep saying Fozan. I know you keep telling me, just call me Zan. But it's when I read it. I just read it. Whatever you like. Yeah, but it just seems weird that when I'm actually chatting to you in collab, I call you Zan, and then I just change it. First hallway. go. Maybe changing name soon when Steam lets me. Oh! Do we get a hint as to what that name is, or is this going to be a big reveal? Turnip is the reverse Robin Hood, and we love him for it. I am the Sheriff of Nottingham. There we go. I'm the one collecting the taxes for King. Was it King John? Oh, I don't remember now. It was John. Or John the Pretender. I can't remember. Probably just remove foe because people don't know my foe background. Oh, right, okay. I won't pry. You know, sometimes it's best to have secrets that are for between you and the people that do know. Something special. Do do do. Don't know if PTD got that. Bananas are worth more than a candle, so... And the watches are more on top of that. Okay, let's do a little... Pizza soapy watchy run. Oh, it's at 9,100. Delicious. Marvelous. Sea Potato, I wait all day just to get one roll on Turnip's channel. Turnip's fans are the poorest of them all. Whilst I sit here supping on my rich drinks and cozy warm in my fluffy gowns. Oh my, marvelous. Villainy, what joy. Sparty, you've learned your lesson. I hope you don't mind, but I've been showing a few people the clip. It was just, it's my favorite. I still have the highlights from the original 50 and 100 pots that absolutely lit up like crazy. But catching yourself out, Sparty, with Kells there, I love that clip. It's pretty iconic. I genuinely thought you knew. That's kind of why I didn't mention what it cost to roll in my pot. Genuinely. I wasn't deliberately trying to catch you out. I promise. And many would vouch for my innocence. No one in stream, but many others might. Casey, what have me and Unbe done? It always goes this way, Casey. Don't blame yourself. Even if it was your fault. Sparty lives under a rock. Oh. I'm sorry I fleeced you. but I'm not sorry at the same time. It was a good top-up for the pot as well. 250 doubloons. And thank you. It was very generous at the time. I genuinely, I was just shocked when you just came in straight up, no PP info, and just slapped down 5 bids. It was incredible. Okay, that's one down, so I think there's only a little bit more, and I'll start the book reading. Very close now. Almost been rolling for an hour, so I think that's fair enough. Crossbow, sandals, and square green buttons. Honestly, Sparty, honestly, I didn't even know you could make the entry that high to begin with. Neither did any of us. And it was a little bit of an accident the first time it happened. But I had the chance to take it down, and I didn't. We just let it go. And then I upped it to 100. We have had a couple of games where it's 100 per roll. Square green, abandoned bolts and sandals. There we go. This one will work. There we go. Oh, Zan. Is it getting to the tempting moment? The pot is potting. Oh, what are we at now? 10,300? Do I need to refresh that? Is that... Yeah, 10,300. You want me to send 5? I'm happy to add 5. I can afford that. Oh no! Who got it? Pasticcio! Oh! Well done! Nice! Now I do have to ask Pasticcio, if you don't mind, please, tipping to create the next pot as well. I would greatly appreciate it. Please. Because I do like these big pots. Last 2 rolls before Zeal bounce is wild. Yeah, you must have been almost dry. It was the last 2. Holy... There we go. I need to... We need to take a little screenshot of it and pop it up onto the Patchy Big Wins. Patchy. Where is it? Where is it? Oh man. It just got over the 10,000 as well. There we go. There we go. Immortalized Pasticcio. There it is. I'll just put 5 PP in a 100 pot if you make one. I love the 100 pots. Absolutely, I would do that, Pisticio. Let's go. And I'll put 5 in myself. If you're going to put in 5, I'll put in 500. So... there we go. Thank you. Okay, so it's 100 to already win 1,000. 100 a roll. We're back to a really big pot. A builder. Let's go. Ba-boo. Ba, ba, ba. Oh yeah, yeah. You already funded 5 of it. It's not gonna let you do it again. Just this year. Man, I can't believe how quickly that was won. Oh, it's less than an hour. Less than an hour streaming, and that was it. Although it jumped up to 10,000 in that time as well, so. Helfer's Hallway. I am not paying attention to what I'm doing, which is fair. Okay, this will be my last round of bounties with the detective, and then we're going to start reading the books. So, if people enjoy that, stick around. Or if you know others that enjoy it and may have not realised I'm on, let them know. Unless it takes them from other streamers, of course. Don't do that. Boo. Zan will add to the pot once it's in victory level again. What have we got in it? It's 1,200. Okay, if you could give me more candles, market, that would be good, because I'm heading that way for Ratmore Road. 100's too scary. 100 is scary, but it makes the most interesting one. I do like the 100s. The 100 gets so scary that people actually pause before they bid. They actually wait a little while because it's too scary. Excellent. We will take the bananas. And actually, I'm not going to come back up this way, so we'll take the soap instead. There we go. Ratmore Road, City Dies, and then we've got the candles that we can pick up with along with the pizzas on the way back. I've only rolled in 50s below. The hundreds take a little while to build up. They take a lot longer to build up. It's a little bit more nerve-wracking. Plus, when it's at this level, when there's only like 1,000, you do occasionally get somebody with the lower pots that have 1,000, so they're a little bit more worth. But as I build up a lot of doubloons, I start filling it up myself. And then there's a few others who also enjoy watching it fill up, so a lot of people do tend to donate to it. It'll get there. It'll become worth it, Zan, and it'll be at a level which could get you the #1 place, and you never know. Might end up adding to it. They always come back. I leave for date night soon. Oh! Have a wonderful date night. I have a lonely, empty house tomorrow, and I'll probably enjoy it. It's rare that I get an empty house to myself. It's just going to be me and my little washy friend tomorrow. That's why I was suggesting earlier that I could actually probably be on a bit of an earlier stream when people were saying she'd be alongside Unday, but I'll see what I can manage. I'm still trying to record 1984 to put on YouTube as well, so I've kind of got that on it. I've nearly finished recording a lot of it. I wanted to make sure I had more than one chapter before I started uploading it. Otherwise, it could be a long time that people have to wait, and I didn't want to do that to people. So I'm working on that as well. Very close. It's almost ready. It's almost ready. So the long wait is almost over. Kind of wanted to do it right. I started off thinking, okay, I'll just read the book like I was doing on stream. But then I thought, well, I should maybe actually just, you know, make sure it's quiet. Because I was recording it when my partner was in the room on her PC and stuff. So every now and again, I would listen back on it and there would be keyboard clattering and all manners of things. I thought, maybe that's not such a good idea. So I'm going to do it a little more. I've been doing it a little more properly when I've got the room quiet to myself to do it. And we'll have a beautiful book read to enjoy. Fingers crossed. And those that missed any pages of 1984 will be able to get the whole thing. Thankfully, 1984 is not a terribly long book, so it's not a huge endeavor, but I just want to get it right. That's all. Go. I cannot get that half man, half horse song out of my head. Cause I'm a creature of the night. How could she ever love me right when I am only half a man? Okay, hand in this bounty. And then we'll start going to the dens. Patchy's pot has been won. We have pages that I've promised it to read, so we shall settle down and we'll get into it, shall we? I think an hour to wait for those that would want to hear is enough. Leg, big blue buttons, Infernae. Nearly got the 40 bone right that we're after, so we'll head to the dens. I will get the book loaded up. Go, book is loaded. So we'll turn this down a little bit. Hello, Vorpal. Oh. Excellent. So, if you're in for the book read, get yourself settled and comfortable, and we shall begin. So, our lovely Jefferson Hope is looking to rescue Lucy Ferrier. That's where we left off in the book last night. What has become of Lucy Ferrier? The Mormon looked at him. She was married yesterday to young Drebber. Hold up, man, hold up. You have no life left in you. Don't mind me, said Hope faintly. He was white to the very lips, and had sunk down on the stone against which he had been leaning. Married, you say? Married yesterday. That's what those flags are for in the endowment house. There was some words between young Drebber and young Strangerson as to which was to have her. They both been in the party that followed them, and Strangerson had shot her father, which seemed to give him the best claim. But when they argued it out in council, Drebber's party was the stronger, so the prophet gave her over to him. No one won't have her very long, though, for I saw death in her face yesterday. She is more like a ghost than a woman. Are you off, then? Yes, I am off, said Jefferson Hope, who had risen from his seat. His face might have been chiseled out of marble, so hard and set was its expression, while its eyes glowed with baleful light. Where are you going? Never mind, Hope answered, and slinging his weapon over his shoulder, strode off down the gorge and so away into the heart of the mountains to the haunts of the wild beasts. Amongst them, all there was none so fierce or so dangerous as himself. The prediction of the Mormon was only too well fulfilled. Whether it was the terrible death of her father or the effects of the hateful marriage into which she had been forced, poor Lucy never held up her head again, but pined away and died within a month. Her sottish husband, who had married her principally for the sake of John Ferrier's property, did not affect any great grief at his bereavement. But his other wives mourned over her, and sat up with her the night before the burial, as is the Mormon custom. They were grouped round the bier in the early hours of the morning, when, to their inexpressible fear and astonishment, the door was flung open, and a savage-looking, weather-beaten man in tattered garments strode into the room. Without a glance or a word at the cowering woman, he walked up to the white silent figure which had once contained the pure soul of Lucy Ferrier. Stooping over her, he pressed his lips reverently to her cold forehead, and then, snatching up her hand, he took the wedding ring from her finger. She shall not be buried in that, he cried, with a fierce snarl, and before an alarm would be raised, sprang down the stairs and was gone. So strange and so brief was the episode that the watchers might have found it hard to believe it themselves, or persuade other people of it, had it not been for the undeniable fact that the circlet of gold which marked her as having been a bride had disappeared. For some months, Jefferson Hope lingered among the mountains, leading a strange, wild life and nursing in his heart the fierce desire for vengeance which possessed him. Tales were told in the city of the weird figure which was seen prowling about the suburbs and which haunted the lonely mountain gorges. Once a bullet whistled through Strangerson's window and flattened itself upon the wall within a foot of him. On another occasion, as Drebber passed under a cliff, a great boulder crashed down on him, and he only escaped a terrible death by throwing himself upon his face. The two young Mormons were not long in discovering the reason for these attempts upon their lives, and led repeated expeditions into the mountains in the hope of capturing or killing their enemy, but always without success. Then, they adopted the precaution of never going out alone or after nightfall, and of having their houses guarded. After a time, they were able to relax these measures, for nothing was either heard or seen of the opponent, and they hoped that time had cooled his vindictiveness. Far from doing so, it had, if anything, augmented it. The hunter's mind was of a hard, unyielding nature, and the predominant idea of revenge had taken such complete possession of it that there was no room for any other emotion. He was, however, above all things practical. He soon realized that even his iron constitution could not stand the incessant strain which he was putting upon it. Exposure and want of wholesome food were wearing him out. If he died like a dog among the mountains, what was to become of his revenge then? And yet such a death was sure to overtake him if he persisted. He felt that was to play his enemy's game. So, he reluctantly returned to the old Nevada mines, there to recruit his health and to amass money enough to allow him to pursue his object without privation. His intention had been to be absent a year at the most, but a combination of unforeseen circumstances prevented his leaving the mines for nearly 5. At the end of that time, however, his memory of his wrongs and his cravings for revenge were quite as keen on the memorable night when he had stood by John Ferrier's grave. Disguised and under an assumed name, he returned to Salt Lake City, careless what became of his own life, as long as he obtained what he knew to be justice. There, he found evil tidings awaiting him. There had been a schism among the chosen people a few months before, some of the younger members of the church having rebelled against the authority of the elders, and the result had been the secession of a certain number of the malcontents who had left Utah and become Gentiles. Among these had been Drebber and Strangerson, and no one knew whither they had gone. Rumor reported that Drebber had managed to convert a large part of his property into money, and that he had departed a wealthy man, while his companion Strangerson was comparatively poor. There was no clue at all, however, as to their whereabouts. Many a man, however, vindictive, would have abandoned all thoughts of revenge in the face of such a difficulty. But Jefferson Hope never faltered for a moment. With the small competence he possessed, eked out by such employment as he could pick up, he travelled from town to town through the United States in quest of his enemies. Year passed into year. His black hair turned grizzled, but still he wandered on, a human bloodhound, with his mind wholly set upon the one object upon which he had devoted his life. At last, his perseverance was rewarded. It was but a glance of a face in the window, but that one glance told him that Cleveland and Ohio possessed the men whom he was in pursuit of. He returned to his miserable lodgings with his plan of vengeance all arranged. It changed, however, that Drebber, looking from his window, had recognized the vagrant in the street, and had read the murder in his eyes. He hurried before a justice of the peace, accompanied by Strangerson, who had become his private secretary, and represented to him that they were in danger of their lives from the jealousy and hatred of an old rival. That evening, Jefferson Hope was taken into custody. Not being able to find sureties, was detained for some weeks. When at last he was liberated, it was only to find that Drebber's house was deserted, and that he and his secretary had departed for Europe. Ooh. Excellent. Again, the Avenger had been foiled, and again his concentrated hatred urged him to continue the pursuit. Funds were wanting. However, and for some time he had to return to work, saving every dollar for his approaching journey. At last, having collected enough to keep him in life, he departed for Europe, and tracked his enemies from city to city, working his way in any menial capacity, but never overtaking the fugitives. When he reached St. Petersburg, they had departed for Paris, and when he followed them there, he learned that they had just set off for Copenhagen. At the Danish capital, he was again a few days late, for they had journeyed on to London, where he at last succeeded in running them to earth. As to what occurred there, we cannot do better than quote the old hunter's own account, as duly recorded in Dr. Watson's journal, to which we are already under such obligations. There we go. So, A Study in Scarlet, Part 2, Chapter 6. A continuation of the reminiscences of John Watson, MD. Our prisoner's furious resistance did not apparently indicate any ferocity in his disposition towards ourselves, for on finding himself powerless, he smiled in an affable manner and expressed his hopes that he had not hurt any of us in the scuffle. "I guess you're going to take me to the police station," he remarked to Sherlock Holmes. "My cab's at the door. If you'll loose my legs, I'll walk down to it. I'm not so light to lift as I used to be." Gregson and Lestrade exchanged glances as if they thought this proposition rather a bold one. But Holmes at once took the prisoner at his word, and loosened the towel which he had bound around his ankles. He rose, stretched his legs as though to assure himself that they were free once more, and I remember that I thought to myself as I eyed him, that I had seldom seen a more powerfully built man, and his dark sunburned face bore an expression of determination and energy which was as formidable as his personal strength. "If there's a vacant place for a chief of the police, I reckon you are the man for it," he said, gazing with undisguised admiration at my fellow lodger. "The way you kept up on my trail was a caution." "You had better come with me," said Holmes to the two detectives. "I can drive you," said Lestrade. "Good, and Gregson can come inside with me. You too, Doctor. You have taken an interest in the case and may as well stick with us." I assented gladly, and we all descended together. Our prisoner made no attempt at escape, but stepped calmly into the cab which had been his, and we followed him. Lestrade mounted the box, whipped up the horse, and brought us in a very short time to our destination. We were ushered into a small chamber where a police inspector noted down our prisoner's name and the names of the men with whose murder he had been charged. The official was a white-faced, unemotional man who went through his duties in dull, mechanical way. "The prisoner will be put before the magistrates in the course of the week," he said. "In the meantime, Mr. Jefferson Hope, I hope you have anything that you wish to say. I must warn you that your words will be taken down and may be used against you." "I've got a good deal to say," our prisoner said slowly. "I want to tell you gentlemen all about it." "Hadn't you better reserve that for your trial?" asked the inspector. "I may never be tried," he answered. "You needn't look startled. It isn't suicide. I'm thinking of—" "Are you a doctor?" He turned his fierce dark eyes upon me as he asked this last question. "Yes, I am," I answered. "Then put your hand here," he said with a smile, motioning with his manacled wrists towards his chest. I did so, and became at once conscious of an extraordinary throbbing and commotion which was going on inside. The walls of his chest seemed to thrill and quiver as a frail building would do inside when some powerful engine was at work. In the silence of the room, I could hear a dull humming and buzzing noise which proceeded from the same source. "Why," I cried, "you have an aortic aneurysm." "That's what they call it," he said placidly. "I went to a doctor last week about it, and he told me that it is bound to burst before many days passed. It has been getting worse for years. I got it from some overexposure and underfeeding among the Salt Lake Mountains. Done my work now, and I don't care how soon I go. I should like to leave some accounts of the business behind me. I don't want to be remembered as a common cutthroat. The inspector and the two detectives had a hurried discussion as to the advisability of allowing him to tell his story. Do you consider, Doctor, that there is immediate danger? The former asked. Well, certainly there is, I answered. In that case, it is clearly our duty, in the interests of justice, to take a statement, said the inspector. You are at liberty, sir, to give your account, which I again warn you will be taken down. I'll sit down with your leave, the prisoner said, suiting the action to the words. This aneurysm of mine makes me easily tired, and the tussle we had half an hour ago has not mended matters. I'm on the brink of the grave, and I am not likely to lie to you. Every word I say is the absolute truth, and how you use it is a matter of no consequence to me. Bah. Lovely. So that's us down to 9 pages there. Not bad. We'll just do this last little den bitty. And we'll continue on. Just like to rest the throat a little bit here and there, though, just to be on the safe side. Ooh, ding! 853. Not doing bad on levels. I'm nearly in the top 2,000. Oh! Not too shabby. Read me a page, you naughty boy. Okay. Thank you very much, Sea Potato. I shall add another page poo. That's us back up to 10. By the way, I don't know if I missed my last page redeem. The one that was about 30 minutes ago. No, I definitely did add it because we went down to 14 pages and I marked 15 immediately after before I counted down to these ones. So, yeah. No, I got that one. I got it. We were all good. We're all good. And if in doubt, I always add extra. I try to read a little bit extra as well because, like I said last time, I'm unsure as exactly how these pages are spaced out. So to make sure, I tend to read a little bit more to be on the safe side. I enjoy it, so I'm not too strict on it. It's more as a marker to keep it going. I just like it to encourage people to join in and stuff like that. It's just a bit of fun. So. But like 1984, once I've finished reading through that one for recording on YouTube, I'll probably record this one as well. These things will take time. You become a little bit more of a perfectionist when you're actually creating it and listening back to it. Whereas when it's been on my videos, I've listened back to it and I'm just not too keen on my own voice. So I'm more judgmental on it. And because of that, when I'm recording it and getting ready to upload it on YouTube, I'm just judging every single thing I do. Despite the fact that everybody's enjoyed it so far. I've even played little bits back for people here and there, and they're like, this is incredible. What are you on about? Why are you so picky about it? So I'll probably get a little bit more confident on it, and these YouTube uploads might come more quickly, but bear with me and my own mental nuances, and I will get them up. I know Olerin he reminded me earlier, he's like, you did promise us a book, and I was like, I know, it is coming. It's definitely coming. Oh, my baby boy, so cute. So, here we go. We shall continue on. With these words, Jefferson Hope leaned back in his chair and began the following remarkable statement. He spoke in a calm and methodical manner, as though the events which he narrated were commonplace enough. I can vouch for the accuracy of the subjoined account, for I have had access to Lestrade's notebook, in which the prisoner's words were taken down exactly as they were uttered. It don't matter much to you why I hated these men, he said. It's enough that they were guilty of the death of two human beings, a father and a daughter, and they had therefore forfeited their own lives. After the lapse of time that has passed since their crime, it was impossible for me to secure a conviction against them in any court. I knew of their guilt, though, and I determined that I should be judge, jury, and executioner, all rolled into one. You'd have done the same, if you have any manhood in you, if you had been in my place. That girl that I spoke of was to have married me 20 years ago. She was forced into marrying that same Drebber and broke her heart over it. I took the marriage ring from her dead finger, and I vowed that his dying eyes should rest upon that very ring, and that his last thoughts should be of the crime for which he was punished. I have carried it about with me and have followed him and his accomplice over 2 continents until I caught them. They thought to tire me out, but they could not do it. If I die tomorrow, as is likely enough, I die knowing that my work in the world is done, and well done. They have perished, and by my hand. There is nothing left for me to hope for, or to desire. They were rich, and I was poor, so that it was no easy matter for me to follow them. When I got to London, my pocket was about empty, and I found that I must turn my hand to something for my living. Driving and riding are as natural to me as walking, so I applied at a cab owner's office and soon got employment. I was to bring a certain sum a week to the owner, and whatever was over that I might keep for myself. There was seldom much over, but I managed to scrape along somehow. The hardest job was to learn my way about, for I reckon that all of the mazes that were ever contrived, this city is the most confusing. I had a map beside me, though, and when once I had spotted the principal hotels and stations, I got on pretty well. Thank you very much, Infernio, for the page. Absolutely. And how are you doing, Infernio? Good to see you. I hope you are well. It was some time before I found out where my 2 gentlemen were living, but I inquired and inquired until at last I dropped across them. They were at a boarding house at Camberwell, over on the other side of the river. When once I found them out, I knew that I had them at my mercy. I had grown my beard, and there was no chance of their recognizing me. I would dog them and follow them until I saw my opportunity. I was determined that they should not escape me again. They were very near doing it, for all that. Go where they would about London, I was always at their heels. Sometimes I followed them on my cab, and sometimes on foot. But the former was the best, for then they could not get away from me. It was only early in the morning or late at night that I could earn anything, so that I began to get behindhand and with my employer. I did not mind that, however, as long as I could lay my hand upon the men I wanted. They were very cunning, though. They must have thought that there was some chance of their being followed, for they would never go out alone, and never after nightfall. During 2 weeks, I drove behind them every day, and never once saw them separate. Drebber himself was drunk half the time, but Strangerson was not to be caught napping. I watched them late and early, but never saw the ghost of a chance. But I was not discouraged, for something told me that the hour had almost come. My only fear was that this thing in my chest might burst a little too soon, and leave my work undone. Infernio just logging in, gonna tan some leather for a bit. Nice! Tannery on top! They haven't missed too many pages, and much like 1984, I will read them out. I was actually saying to people earlier as well, Infernio, I'm nearly ready to start putting out some of the 1984 page readings onto YouTube, so that's exciting. I'll probably spend a bit of tomorrow. I've got the house nice and empty to myself. So what I might do is get some more of it done and maybe, touch wood, maybe be ready for it. I've kind of figured I've got a bit over half the book read and recorded. If I get a little bit more, I can start uploading it in a sort of timely fashion. And by the time I catch up with myself, I will have read the rest and upload that as well. It's trying to get peace and quiet. That's the only thing. Not that I'm absolutely floundered in noise, but I was even irritated by little things like clacking of a keyboard or something like that while I was recording. It was very, very noticeable. So, that'll be good. That'll be good. I might have to pop by the tannery and say hello as well. Although, I still don't think I've got a discount for any leather that I'm working on now. Moderate Bison is my cheapest. And what am I actually tanning? Moderate Hail Beast. I'm almost getting there. I'm almost getting there. Yeah. Yeah. But welcome. Good to see you. At last, one evening, I was driving up and down Torquay Terrace, as the street was called in which they boarded, when I saw a cab drive up to their door. Presently, some luggage was brought out, and after a time Drebber and Strangerson followed it, and drove off. I whipped up my horse and kept within sight of them, feeling very ill at ease, for I feared that they were going to shift their quarters. At Euston Station they got out, and I left a boy to hold my horse, and followed them onto the platform. Page, you naughty boy. I heard them ask for the Liverpool train, and the guard answered that one had just gone, and there would not be another for some hours. Strangerson seemed to be put out at that, but Drebber was rather pleased than otherwise. I got so close to them in the bustle that I could hear every word that had been passed between them. Drebber said that he had a little business of his own to do, and that if the other would wait for him, he would soon rejoin him. His companion remonstrated with him, and reminded him that they had resolved to stick together. Drebber answered that the matter was a delicate one, and that he must go alone. I could not catch what Strangerson said to that, but the other burst out swearing, and reminded him that he was nothing more than his paid servant, and that he must not presume to dictate to him. On that, the secretary gave it up as a bad job, and simply bargained with him that if he missed the last train, he should rejoin him at the Halliday's private hotel to which Drebber answered that he would be back on the platform before 11, and made his way out of the station. The moment for which I had waited so long had at last come. I had my enemies within my power. Together they could protect each other, but singly they were at my mercy. I did not act, however, with undue precipitation. My plans were already formed. There is no satisfaction in vengeance unless the offender has time to realize who it is that strikes him, and why retribution has come upon him. I had my plans arranged by which I should have the opportunity of making the man who had wronged me understand that his old sin had found him out. It chanced that some days before, a gentleman who had been engaged in looking over some houses in Brixton Road had dropped the key of one of them in my carriage. It was claimed that same evening, and returned, but in the interval I had taken a moulding of it and had a duplicate constructed. By means of this, I had access to at least one spot in the great city where I could rely upon being free from interruption. How to get Drebber to that house was the difficult problem, which I had now to solve. He walked down the road and went into one or two liquor stores, staying for nearly half an hour in the last of them. When he came out, he staggered in his walk, and was evidently pretty well on. There was a hansom just in front of me, and he hailed it. I followed it so close that the nose of my horse was within a yard of the driver the whole way. We rattled across Waterloo Bridge and through miles of streets until, to my astonishment, we found ourselves back in the terrace in which he had boarded. I could not imagine what his intention was in returning there, but I went on and pulled up my cab 100 yards or so from the house. He entered it, and his hansom drove away. Give me a glass of water, if you please. My mouth gets dry with the talking. I handed him the glass, and he drank it down. That's better, he said. Well, I waited for a quarter of an hour or more, when suddenly there came a noise like people struggling inside the house. Next moment the door was flung open and two men appeared, one of whom was Drebber, and the other was a young chap whom I had never seen before. His fellow had Drebber by the collar, and when they came to the head of the steps, he gave him a shove and a kick, which sent him half across the road. "You hound!" he cried, shaking his stick at him. "I'll teach you to insult an honest girl." He was so hot that I think he would have thrashed Drebber with a cudgel, only that the cur staggered away down the road as fast as his legs would carry him. He ran as far as the corner, and then, seeing my cab, he hailed me and jumped in. "Drive me to Halliday Private Hotel," said he. When I had him fairly inside my cab, my heart jumped so with joy that I feared lest, at this last moment, my aneurysm might go wrong. I drove along slowly, weighing in my own mind what it was best to do. I might take him right out into the country, and there in some deserted lane have my last interview with him. I had almost decided upon this, when he solved the problem for me. The craze for drink had seized him again, and he ordered me to pull up outside a gin palace. He went in, leaving word that I should wait for him. There he remained until closing time, and when he came out, he was so far gone that I knew the game was in my own hands. It's a big one, Shuno. It was requested as such by Pistisio, so that Pistisio would donate some towards it. So we are making the big 100 pot, and we'll top it up till it gets exciting. Thank you for the donations. I'm sorry it was not a win. Read me a page, you naughty boy. Absolutely, Sea Potato. Absolutely, I will. Thank you for the page. That's 2, by the way. I have been hearing them, and I've been marking them. Don't worry, I've been hearing them. I just thank you in between breaths. I don't feel like I should interrupt the reading to thank people, but I do. I keep the Twitch page up, and I keep the activity feed nice. I kind of it's why I put the sound alert on it as well, so that I don't miss. Because there was one when Infernio put it in whilst I was reading, just as I stopped, and then I got your two. I just don't feel like interrupting the flow, as it were. But we're still going strong. We've still got plenty of pages. There's still 7. I can read a little bit faster than you donate, so just only just a little though. Only just a little. But that kind of works in my favor a little bit, because it means I can take a little break to run about, maybe do some of the bounties, rests my voice a little bit. And then when we gather a few more pages, we come back to the dens and read them again. Just seems a more clever way to do it. Because if I burn out my voice, I can't do it at all. It doesn't feel like a clever idea, so... I think we got the pacing right. I think the 300 with the 5 minutes is a good pace. Can I just mass donate? I like to keep it on the 5 minutes, because the last time I took it off, genuinely, people rattled on 20 pages on top of what was already a big donation. And then if I did that as well, it would mean if people did pay subscriptions for 5 pages, it wouldn't actually seem worth it anymore, because you could just do 300 turnips over and over and over and over and over. So I have to limit it slightly, just slightly. I know I do bank the pages, but they do get read through. We've only had one day where it got up to crazy numbers of pages, because somebody did do 10 gifted subs. It was actually a friend I know in real life who did it in the middle of the stream, so... but I would have been donating over the last week if I would have known. I'll tell you what. Out of that then, what if I add, or round it back up to 10? What if I add another... No, let's add 5 pages then. So I'm on 7. What if I round it up to 12 pages? To compensate for that, you don't have to spend your turnips. You can save for spending them again. But because that wasn't so clear, I will chuck 5 pages in. Is that a lovely compromise? Because I enjoy reading. Like I said, I'm not too strict on it. And it does feel like I cheated you a little bit. So I accept your terms. Perfect. Okay. We're up to 12 pages. So I added 5 as if it was a sub. There we go. Go with that. Might need to pick another book soon. I don't know how much is left of this one. We might actually finish this book today. I'm gonna have to get another book soon. We have... I still have the list of books that we were doing. I can keep Sherlock Holmes in it, because there's no reason we can't read a different Sherlock Holmes book as well. But we've got quite a few, so... We might be through a second book already. Less than a month. Churning through these books. Don't imagine that I intended to kill him in cold blood. It would only have been rigid justice if I had done so. But I could not bring myself to do it. I had long determined that he should have a show for his life, if he chose to take advantage of it. Among the many billets which I have filled in America during my wandering life, I was once janitor and sweeper out of the laboratory of York College. One day the professor was lecturing on poisons, and he showed his students some alkaloid, as he called it, which he had extracted from some South American arrow poison, and which was so powerful that the least grain meant instant death. I spotted the bottle in which this preparation was kept, and when they were all gone, I helped myself to a little of it. I was a fairly good dispenser, So I worked this alkaloid into small soluble pills, and each pill I put in a box with a similar pill, made without the poison. I determined at the time that when I had my chance, the gentlemen should each have a draw out of one of these boxes, while I ate the pill that remained. It would be quite as deadly, and a good deal less noisy than firing across a handkerchief. From that day, I had always my pill boxes about with me, and the time had now come when I was to use them. It was nearer 1 than 12, and a wild bleak night, blowing hard and raining in torrents, dismal as it was outside. I was glad within, so glad that I could have shouted out from pure exultation. If any of you gentlemen have ever pined for a thing, and longed for it during 20 long years, and then suddenly found it within your reach, you would understand my feelings. I lit a cigar and puffed at it to ready my nerves, but my hands were trembling and my temples throbbing with excitement.
Read me a page.
As I drove, I could see old John Ferrier and sweet Lucy looking at me out of the darkness and smiling at me, just as plain as I had seen all in this room. All the way they were ahead of me, one on each side of the horse, until I pulled up at the house in Brixton Road. There was not a soul to be seen, nor a sound to be heard, except the dripping of the rain. When I looked in at the window, I found Drebber all huddled together in a drunken sleep. I shook him by the arm. "It's time to get out," I said. "All right, cabby," said he. I suppose he thought we had come to the hotel that he had mentioned, for he got out without another word, and followed me down the garden. I had to walk beside him to keep him steady, for he was still a little top-heavy. When we came to the door, I opened it, and led him into the front room. I give you my word that all the way the father and daughter were walking in front of us. "It's infernally dark," said he, stamping about. "We'll soon have light," I said, striking a match and putting it to a wax candle which I had brought with me. "Now, Enoch Drebber," I continued, turning to him, and holding the light to my own face. "Who am I?" He gazed at me with bleared, drunken eyes for a moment, and then I saw horror spring up in him, and convulse his own features, which showed me that he knew me. He staggered back with a livid face, and I saw the perspiration break out upon his brow, while his teeth chattered in his head. At the sight, I leaned my back against the door and laughed loud and long. I had always known that vengeance would be sweet, but I had never hoped for the contentment of soul which was now possessed me. "You dog," I said. "I have hunted you from Salt Lake City to St. Petersburg, and you have always escaped me. Now at last, your wanderings have come to an end for either of you, or I shall never see tomorrow's sun rise." He shrunk still further away as I spoke, and I could see on his face that he thought I was mad. So I was, for the time. The pulses in my temples beat like sledgehammers, and I believe I would have had a fit of some sort if the blood had not gushed from my nose and relieved me. "What do you think of Lucy Ferrier now?" I cried, locking the door and shaking the key in his face. "Punishment has been slow in coming, but it has overtaken you at last." I saw his coward lips tremble as I spoke. He would have begged for his life, but he knew well that it was useless. "Would you murder me?" he stammered. "There is no murder," I answered. "Who talks of murdering a mad dog? What mercy had you upon my poor darling when you dragged her from her slaughtered father and bore her away to your cursed shameless harem?" "It was not I who killed her father," he cried. "But it was you who broke her innocent heart," I shrieked, thrusting the box before him. "Let the high God judge between us. Choose and eat. There is death in one and life in the other. I shall take what you leave. Let us see if there is justice upon the earth, or if we are ruled by chance." Just adding the pages. Thank you, Seed Potato. Lovely, lovely. He cowered away with wild cries and prayers for mercy. but I drew my knife and held it to his throat until he had obeyed me. Then I swallowed the other, and we stood facing one another in silence for a minute or more, waiting to see which was to live and which was to die. Shall I ever forget the look which came over his face when the first warning pangs told him that the poison was in his system? I laughed as I saw it, and held Lucy's marriage ring in front of his eyes. It was but for a moment, for the action of the alkaloid is rapid. A spasm of pain contorted his features. He threw his hands out in front of him, staggered, and then, with a hoarse cry, fell heavily upon the floor. I turned him over with my foot, and placed my hand upon his heart. There was no movement. He was dead. Ron! Hey, we're back in the shores. Let's go! We are back in the shores. How are you doing, Ron? It's good to see you. Hello, Mr. Koo. Oh, thank you for the donation. Pricey, but I appreciate it. Oh, jeez. Don't tell me that... That was your last 500. My goodness. Well played, though. I like a daring game. Well done. It's good to see you, Ron. And Mr. Koo. Welcome, welcome. I hope you are both well. I don't know if you were around before for the new camera and stuff, Ron. Do a little switchy. You can see Puggy Boy in all his glory. I actually have a decent camera now. Okay. Good and cozy in these wintry days. New camera? Yes! New camera. The old one was absolutely garbage. I couldn't put on a full screen like this. It looked atrocious. You can see my pretty blue eyes with it. And if I can't show my pretty blue eyes, what's the point? So, yeah. New camera. Same look, same doggy. Yeah. And Inferno... Sea Potato, sorry. Thank you for the page. We shall add that. You're actually doing quite good. That's keeping it on 10. I read. So. No, it's been good. It's nice to get back into the shores. It's nice to get back into the reading. Good fun. All in good fun. Amazing. It's nice. I should have done it sooner, but I was humming and hawing over what kind of camera to get. I was wondering if I should do something like get a professional camera and then mount it properly and stuff. And then I thought to myself, don't make it more complicated than you need it to be right now. Webcams get to be quite nice in quality these days. I don't need it to be perfect. But I just needed it to be better than my old camera, which this one definitely is. So this has been way too long for a Sherlock Holmes story. Hello, Costume Cats. I did actually manage to start reading on Final Fantasy XIV, and for those who weren't there for the stream yesterday, we came up with a rather good idea. You've got the player housing in Final Fantasy XIV. Steady Prism suggested that we should make a goal to get a player house in Final Fantasy XIV and make a story reader's corner there. Hello, Steady! Speak of the devil. There we go. There they are. So, in Final Fantasy XIV, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a storyteller's corner, and then when we build up a lot of pages while streaming in that game, we can retire to it, get ourselves cozy, and read the book there as well. I thought it was a lovely idea. So that's going to be our goal for Final Fantasy 14. I shouldn't waste XP. Let's keep this going while I chat away. We've still got quite a lot of pages to get through as well, so once we've stopped saying hellos and stuff. But hello and welcome as well, Steady. So, Ron, it looks good. I'm glad. I was in need of a decent camera, and I'm glad it's working. There's more to the camera that I need to play about with, but in my excitement, I just plugged it in and went with it without actually going through its processes properly. So I can make adjustments, like change its aspect ratio for a start. Although I like having wash in the stream. If I reduce it, I might lose them. So not the best idea. Plus, when I was watching out the corner of my eye, obviously some explosives news hit brighter shores with the combat changes. You mean combat changes, or has something more recent come out that I've not heard of? I kind of like their idea for the combat changes, if that is the case, but read me a page. I'm quite curious as to absolutely Sea Potato. That brings us back up to 11. It's almost like I never read from the top pages. We are definitely going to be finishing this book tonight, guys. This Sherlock Holmes book is going to be finished, which means there's 2 other Sherlock Holmes books that we can read, or I can do a poll again and we can pick out one of the others that was also suggested as well. Read me a page, you naughty turnip. I'm waiting until I see Moar written up in full caps. M-O-A-R. I've never had my more moment. In the air, hop, skip, jump, it's a lively affair. Well, interview, stream with guest, one that doesn't have one final story, please. Party all night, these lights will ride, and now let's dance to the beat so alive. Hop, step, jump, feel the thrill, let it drive. Ooh, thank you. Steady. One that doesn't have a millennia-long final story, please. What was... I know Samuel was streaming, was chatting to others yesterday. I was streaming myself, though, so I kind of missed it. I don't know if he said much. Oh, Sea Potato, what one did you find? And this is where you tell me that round 2, there's been some donations, Unbe. It's on 2,100. I appreciate your donation. First edition Neo Genesis Lugia. Just in your collection and you didn't know? I need the story, Sea Potato. How could you be going through... Oh, they were through your old Pokemon cards. So it's probably very valuable now. I swear it's in flawless condition. I took it out of magnifying glass and everything. Are you intent on sending it to get appraised? Have you checked how much it's potentially worth? I wouldn't know off the top of my head, but you've sent it in today. Oh boy. Please let me know. Please update. Oh, could you please put the photo up when if it gets its appraisal and it's a good one? You know, you get the cool little sealed... Because I imagine it's one of the ones that seal it in a container for you, isn't it? When you get it appraised. $50,000 if it comes back at 10. Fingers crossed for you. Fingers crossed. I wish I was the kind of person that could make that kind of purchase from you, but I'm not. But I would love to hear your story of it, nonetheless. I'm not a $50,000 kind of earner, shall we say. Unbait, another 5k pot that me and Casey fed got taken by a guy doing their last 2 rolls just like Pasticcio. Seriously? Whose stream was that? Was that somebody was doing 250 rolls, weren't they? I don't think they're on right now. That was Pronus, wasn't it? 5,000 pot. Holy moly. Is somebody else rolling a big pot alongside me then? 20 entry rolls. Okay. Costume cats. Also, everyone and their brother. Scout has a bow. Does that mean it'll favor ranged? Which got a most likely. Ooh.
Read me a page, you naughty boy.
Just clarification for the... and stuff like that. They're keeping the name Guard and Scout because they're cool. Okay. Yeah, I was watching Pronus. He's a smart man. Yes, Sea Potato. We will get into these pages again. It is back topped up to 12. Man. That was Chronicles. Okay. Shoreline Chronicles. Well, what's the borderline for villainy? Is it 50? 25? Does 20 quite make it? Sea Potato, but yeah, I need to go through my old cards. Who knows what else is in there? I know we need to get that shiny Charizard appraised. It is safe. It's sleeved and boxed, so it is safe. It's a shiny black Charizard as well. Like, it's a really good one. It's not the rainbow Charizard though. I know that's what a lot of people would hope for, but you should do a 1,000 cost roll. Well, this is a weird thing. I was talking about with someone earlier. I think Pronus did like the 250. But hop, skip, jump, it's a valley affair. What a sight. Tack, tap, wash, and the disco lights. I still like how groovy this song is. It's so good. No regrets. Ah, thank you. I do love it. I might have to start increasing the price of the music though, because it seems too easy to get. Until everybody gets... it's weird how diverse Brighter Shores community is right now. I mean, it just attracts a wide variety of people, a game like this. It's got something for everybody, so, you know, it's going to have different people turning up. Like, you've got those that like the numbers go up. You've got people like me who are happy just diddling along, twiddling their fingers. You've got others that just kind of have it as a second monitor game. I think I was watching OJ Allen the other day who was playing Marvel Rivals whilst having it alongside it or something like that. It's like, you can get anything... Play this game any way you wish and such. It's bound to do it. But Sea Potato, I was talking about the 1,000 cost roll. Pronus was doing 250, and even at 100, you notice that it slows down quite a lot. Like, and I think 1,000, it's just... I don't think there's enough money in the game yet for 1,000 pot. 1,000 rolling pot. I would love to. I would love to get to that villainy. We'll get there, but I think we need to build up a few more high rollers first. Steady, and some that are crazy enough to level 3 characters at the same time. Yes, and people like yourself. And it's one account, isn't it? So you have to do each one individually. Leveling 3 characters at individual moments. Oh, Casey, Patricio and Umbe, are you guys sure? Jeez. It's already at 4,600. Shuno as well. Oh my goodness. Guys. Okay. 5,100 is the pot. 100 a bid. Before this takes off again, I think we might want to get through a page or two as well. Costume cats. There was a girl who nicely putting it bad ADHD. Plays every day, but plays so many different games that she's still level 500, which was neat to see. Oh my goodness. Naroda could get 22 rolls on your 1,000 cost pot. But it would only be Naroda playing Sea Potato. We need to get more. Don't worry, I'm creating more and more high leaderboard people. So we'll get there. We'll get there. I'm pushing the money up. And then we'll get our 1,000 tables. You have to remember, I have to be able to afford to make the pot. And I can't afford to make 1,000 pot right now. If I put in 1,000, I would have to start the pot at 1,000, and no one's going to pay 1,000 to win 1,000. So it's there's also that to take into account. I've been leveling 2 alts. Got the guard at 150 plus, and alchemist forager alt at 50 in both. Steady's doing a similar thing, Inferno, except they're leveling each character evenly on every skill. It's crazy. Pasticcio would. Oh, Pasticcio would perhaps add to 1,000. We'll get there. I have intent for going for even higher rolling pots. But the 100 was slowing down quite a bit, and the 50 goes at a good pace. So these ones are fine. Don't worry, my villainy is in fruition. It will grow. I will punish you all. You guys, you want the punishment too soon. You know? Gotta have the foreplay before the whipping starts. Gosh dang, that's quite a task. Yeah, Steady's on an absolute belt. And they're doing well because almost all their characters have nearly overtaken me. Or are getting very close to me. Feel free to show those characters' totals on the leaderboard. Yeah, where are we? Friends, total. So here's me, Ponders, and Millicent, Steady Prism, and Hazelpaw. These are all Steady's characters. There you go, 621, 626, and 628. So a combined level of upwards of 1,900. And here's me with 855. It's not very impressive. None of them are past 100 on any skill level yet. Just the effort is impressive enough, Steady. Like, don't put yourself down. I don't have any skills over 100 yet. My detective's the closest, and I'm still a bit off. Costume, that was the raid Fen Sam did, so it was funny to see it go from high tier questions about a new update to dying while trying to fight cockroach and eating ramen at the same time. Who did they raid for the ramen eating and dying?
she goes. Doubloons ahoy.
Fernio, you don't need to have high-level skills to have been enjoying the game. Yeah, exactly. I'm still enjoying the game. I took a bit of a break, you know. People know I disappeared to Final Fantasy for a little bit, so... But, I'm glad to come back. Yesterday, streaming, a part of me was like, I really do fancy playing for some Brighter Shores, and I needed that. I needed that mood to get back in as well. I am one of those players that probably suffers from burnout more quickly than many others. So I do need to play it right. It'll happen with Final Fantasy 14 as well, you know. It's good that I'm playing this alongside it. If I just kept playing that non-stop, I would probably burn out from it as well. So I have to give it a little break here and there. Although we have a goal in Final Fantasy 14 now. We're going to do our house. PTD, yo, saw your message. I'm iPad. Getting up right now. Cool, cool. To see you nonetheless. Excellent. PTD usually watches me on YouTube, so I do like to say hello to them as well. Got to be inclusive of the YouTube fans as well. None on just now watching, but we do get a fair few. This is the other thing, like another thing where I got over my viewer count on Twitch a little bit. I kept forgetting to add the fact that I usually have viewers sometimes on YouTube as well. It's not today, but I do normally, so I shouldn't get too hung up on it. Traveller, my total level's only 879. Oh, you're catching back up with me. I need to redouble my efforts. Oh, Shuno, still no win. Apache Pix is rocking up. Bernio, I like the variety in content. It's nice to watch another game while still feeling like you have a foot in the door of the Brighter Shores community while playing Apache, etc. Yeah, I don't want to call it a foot in the door sort of thing. I was actually prepared that if people were disgruntled and upset with me, that they might go back to their Brighter Shores favorites. And I was ready for it, and it's absolutely fair. I can only do so much. But I think people would also notice if I was getting very, very bored. So, you know, it's a lose-lose situation in that case. So I thought, you know what, now's the time. And Final Fantasy 14 was recommended, and I'm enjoying it. So it's good. And I want to keep playing Brighter Shores. I'm excited for where Brighter Shores might go to. I know there's doubts and ifs and buts and arguments for and against here and there, but I'm generally a positive thinker. I'm a casual player as well, so I'm not really too stressed over its updates. I can just be excited about it, happy about it, which is my position on it. I'm looking forward to the combat changes, just because I like change. And it'll be interesting to see what the next episodes and stuff have to offer as well. Not everyone will like the format, but there are a few people like myself that like it. Good. It's always good to see. It was really nice to see returning faces. I was actually nearly teary playing Final Fantasy when people did turn up. I was like, oh my goodness. Because I was genuinely pleased by it. Gothic, thank you so much for the community sub. Oh, Sea Potato and Bernio will be pleased with you. That's an extra 5 pages of reading. That, I think, will finish the book. Close. Very close. That's enough page. I think we'll be finishing the book tonight, guys. There are only a few more pages added on that. Thank you so much, Gothic.
Read me a page, you naughty boy.
Or Gothic Nivik. Good to see you. So good, I died for it. Finish the book. Thank you. I wasn't trying to egg you on, but I appreciate it. I think we will be finishing the book, definitely. But thank you very much, my trendy friend. haven't seen many fashion updates from yourself, but I'm ever ready for them when you do. Same back home in Chronopolis. One quest left. I have Hope, Forest, and Mines, but almost ready for one of them. That's not strictly true. I actually have quite a bit before. It's I think it's 60 blacksmith or something like that. I just prefer Chronopolis. I've been KPing them and passiving them if I can. It's, my cartoon demon self is done if you'd like to see. Absolutely. Demon Peacock. Absolutely want to see that. Yeah, 100%. Costume, did you ever pick a gathering crafting profession since I was distracted yesterday? Was that to me or were you chatting to? Yeah. Are we still talking about in this game or Final Fantasy XIV? Costume cats. I've been doing the weaving if it's Final Fantasy XIV. Gathering in this, I haven't done any of the gathering skills really much. But I like the weaving. I like fashion-y thing. I'm gonna be all for fashion fantasy. So I will be dressing up in that game. I already like that I have that kind of strapped leather that has my character's chest out. Call me a kinky fellow, but you know, I like JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. I like the whole male beauty element and it being exaggerated and stuff. I find it fun. Not necessarily something I'm attracted to myself, but I find it fun. And something that should be played around with. Check your Discord. Okay. You don't have to tell me. You don't do gathering crafting. You're a Kreno creation. I did the leather. I've done the leather working. I've done some of the weaving. And the botanist, I did some of those, and I found that I could do some of those whilst reading as well, so that's something else about Final Fantasy XIV that we can do. But I just like the idea of building a story corner in a house in Final Fantasy XIV. I think it'd just be a nice little setting to read books. But yeah, Discord, sorry. Here we go. If anybody wants to see Gothic Nivix, as per my request. Oh! Cool. I like the different colored corsets as well. Oh, I see the peacock one! Cool! Very cool! I like the yellow one. I don't know what it is about the yellow one. It just suits the peacock a bit more. I like the red for the original original one, but the yellow one very nice. The peacock. Leatherworking is a processing skill, not a crafting skill. Jeez. Oh, I'm such a noob, Costume. So, crafting, is that going to be like the goldsmith or carpenter? Is that those ones then? Or blacksmith, maybe? Armorer will be the crafting profession that ties in with processing skill of leatherworking. Okay! Okay, I didn't really know that. One day you'll be able to make a story corner in Brighter Shores too, but that's many updates away. I have been thinking of that, Infernio Max. And it actually got me thinking, if there's any other games that we end up playing which is similar to this, let's hope we can always craft a story corner. We actually have a Valheim server running, which I need to have a look at and see if it's still running. And it occurred to me I could make a story corner in Valheim as well. We had, it was like a community server that I made with what I earned from subscriptions from Twitch. I thought, you know, I'll buy a server that we can all play games on together. So that's running Valheim, but I think I need to update it and check on it. I haven't been on it in ages. I don't suspect anybody else has been on it in a while either, so thankfully when nobody's on it, it pauses the time in it, but I need to have a look at it. Oh, I was joking about Brighter Shores, calling you a Kreno creation some more. A cretin. Casey is broke. Oh, really? 39 doubloons. Casey. Another wipe to add to the list. Okay, the pot's at 9,400 doubloons, everybody. Already close to another 10,000 run. Here we go. Somebody might want to tell She, if anybody knows where She is hanging around. Because they usually like it when it's stacked up like this as well. Because they're quite high on the leaderboards. If we want to bait somebody else in. Oh, Sparty! Thank you for trying. You forgot I already made you poor. Oh, such confidence as well. I'll make it 10k. Nope, it didn't help it. Disconnect. Be right back. May need to refresh. Sorry about that, guys. Well, at least I know that it wasn't just OBS then. I tried a different broadcaster. I don't know why the Twitch disconnection... Does anybody know how to get the Twitch disconnection protection to work? Like, I've turned it on, but it just does not seem to work for me. And I'm in desperate need of it to work, because this happens to me too often. The strange thing is, YouTube just keeps it rolling. Like, if you do YouTube live, it keeps it rolling and it's fine, but, yeah. It's good luck. You too. Sticio, for me, I was having problems because either my encoding or bitrate was wrong. I fixed both and it solved my disconnect issues. Do you know where I could look up where I might find those fixes, Pasticio? Was there a website that you found that let you check through it or anything? I would really be glad to try and fix it. if I could, because it's constantly haranguing me. Might have to have a wee look-see at your settings if you want a hand. I would appreciate it. I would appreciate any help because it happens to me too frequently. I suspect it could be my internet as well, though, because Brighter Shores disconnects and reconnects when it happens as well. So, but if it's doing that because of what's happening on... Thank you, Pisticio. Cool. I might need to... alter some things when I get the chance. Cool. And it might be my connection. For me, I also switched to NVIDIA encoding. Okay. Might just have to stream at lower quality to ensure that it's consistent. I'm willing to do that. I've already lowered the bitrate quite a bit, but I could reduce the quality as well. What's my speed test stats? It is 20 megabit download, 15 megabit upload. I stream at 4,500 bitrate, 1080p at 60 FPS. Up to my quality with the fixes and it was fine. Yeah, I might need to go through with some of them. Do you have anyone else using the internet at home? Right now, no. Absolutely nothing else is on apart from my phone. And I turn off all of the auto-updaters on my phone as well while I'm streaming, just in case that is... I also turned off the router's auto-update, or I didn't turn it off, I changed it to a time of day that I don't stream. So, and I checked to make sure that those updates go through at the right time, and they do. So I also did that, in case it was the router updating and rebooting once it had done so, or something like that. Using Ethernet or Wi-Fi? It is Ethernet. However, my... it's on a... So I'm Ethernet to a hub which is doing a mesh broadband around the house, because I have 3-foot thick stone walls all around this house, and it's the only way I can get internet through it. Like, it's a protected building, so this building was first built in 1713. So I'm not allowed to drill big holes through it. It's historical. So I have to use the mesh thing. Hello, she. Tempted. That's fair. Is the hub Wi-Fi or Ethernet? The hub is the mesh, so that's technically Wi-Fi. And it's on a mobile broadband system because it's the only way I can get broadband here. So that's where I think the failing is, and possibly is. Oh my goodness. Pasticcio! Really? No way! Well done! I missed it. Sorry. Very nice. Okay, I will pop that on the patchy picks. Again. Jeez, Pasticcio. I can't believe it. Twice. There we go. I spelled pasticcio wrong, but I'm sure you don't mind. I just added extra S's. Unbelievable. I have returned, but I am getting prepped. Don't worry, Gothic Hinbeck. You haven't. Well, you missed another big win on the picks. Kind of like Frontier in Canada. Internet for people who live too far away from society to get internet. Yeah, there's. I mean, there could be other options. Okay. I need to make another pot. That went much more quickly than I was thinking. Are you happy to fund another pot, Pasticcio? You're happy to help out? Because I am running a little dry. Do a smaller one. The smallest I go is 50. Is that okay? So it'll cost you $2.50 or 75. Gothic Nivik, what is Tannery Cult? It is awful, Gothic Nivik. It is the most awful thing and is not worth 5,000 turnips. But that will just increase your curiosity. It was apparently Losu was trying to make a rap pineapple or tannery song. Oh, you're gonna regret it.
Welcome to the tannery, the pride of the town. Yeah. Where leather's crafted and we wear the crown.
Put it on yourself,
We're the heart of the trade, the soul of the shore. Step in our shop and you'll beg for more. Transforming hides, making them gleam. Stand back. Watch us sew up the tree. Tannery on top.
It's still as bad as I remember.
Hides into art. Let the anthem sound where the friendliest crew. It's plain to see. Tannery forever. We own the
Oh, it
spree.
is Infernio. It is culty.
Cooking up trouble, it's true. But their greasy drama won't outshine our crew. While the burning dinners, we're shaping dreams. Tannery's the future, bursting at the seams. Polishing pride, shining like a star. We're the ones raising the bar. Tannery on top, we're the best around. Turn hides into art. Let the anthem sound
cool.
with the friendliest crew. It's plain to see, Tannery forever. We own the spree.
Okay, there it's up, Pasticcio. Thank you. That's absolutely awful, and it answers the question: what is Tannery Cult? I did say it was nothing good. It actually goes a little longer than that as well. I made a highlight of it. It's on my YouTube channel as well, if you're at all curious. But it doesn't get better each time you hear it. It in fact gets worse. It's awful to the core. But there you go. It cost you 5,000 turnips to hear it. I always love your reaction to it. Steady, it's turning into embarrassment. I don't know, 30 more turnips and I'm playing that again. I think I put a 10-minute cooldown on it for my own grace. Because, my goodness.
Read my page, you naughty boy.
It was awful. 24 pages we got banked. Okay. Okay, lest I forget. Let's do a couple of these pages, because Patchy is going to have to start warming up again. I'll never make 5k turnips. Not for... Yeah, you have to make your choice. Do you want to hear cultish music, or do you want to hear me read books? I know what my choice is, but I can't force anybody's hand. Ron, don't encourage her. Don't encourage them. I have 2k turnips. Only 3,000 more to go if you want to hear it again. I think she's got you covered though. And I paid money dollars to hear a book. Which one do you think is more valuable? But I will read the book. You did pay money dollars to hear the book, so here we go. Let's do it before that is wasted and you have to go. So, where we left them, Mr. Hope had just killed his first victim. The blood had been streaming from my nose, but I had taken no notice of it. I don't know what it was that put it into my head to write upon the wall with it. Perhaps it was some mischievous idea of setting the police upon a wrong track, for I felt light-hearted and cheerful. I remembered a German being found New York with rash written up above him, and it was argued at the time in the newspapers that the secret societies must have done it. I guessed that what puzzled the New Yorkers would puzzle the Londoners, so I dipped my finger in my own blood and printed it at a convenient place on the wall. Then I walked down to my cab and found that there was nobody about, and that the night was very still wild. I had driven some distance when I put my hand into my pocket in which I usually kept Lucy's ring, and found that it was not there. I was thunderstruck at this, for it was the only memento I had of her. Thinking that I might have dropped it when I stooped over Drebber's body, I drove back, and leaving my cab in a side street, I went boldly up to the house, for I was ready to dare anything rather than lose the ring. When I arrived there, I walked right into the arms of a police officer who was coming out, and only managed to disarm his suspicions by pretending to be hopelessly drunk. That was how Enoch Drebber came to his end. All I had to do then was to do as much for Strangerson, and so pay off John Ferrier's debt. I knew that he was staying at Halliday's private hotel, and I hung about all day, but he never came out. Fancy that he suspected something when Drebber failed to put in an appearance. He was cunning, was Strangerson, and always on his guard. If he thought he could keep me off by staying indoors, he was very much mistaken. I soon found out which was the window of his room, and early next morning I took advantage of some ladders which were laying in the lane behind the hotel, and so made my way into his room in the grey of dawn. I woke him up and told him that the hour had come when he was to answer for the life he had taken so long before. I described Drebber's death to him, and I gave him the same choice of the poisoned pills. Instead of grasping at the chance of safety which that offered him, he sprang from his bed and flew at my throat. In self-defense, I stabbed him to the heart. It would have been the same in any case, for Providence would never have allowed this guilty hand to pick out anything but the poison. I'm going live in a few hours, so book Blue Corset Dreams. Oh, cool. Thank you for the subs, and because of that, I hope I spelt this right. There you go. Perfect. Yeah, I don't mind people announcing themselves in my streams, so go for it. Go for it. Appreciate you. No problem, Gothic. Absolutely not. You're a lovely soul. Happy to do so. Steady, I could torment you often with it with my 115,000 points. You could do that, Steady, and I would at least make you several thousand turnips lighter. I can at you when you do a shout out. It makes it easier to find me. Oh, can we? Oh, that would help in future. Thank you. If I want to, you can pick your half kilt. What is a half kilt? I have an asymmetrical one, or you can pick my pattern. I am a fan of asymmetry, so I'll instantly go for that, without even looking, without even checking. I do like my fashiony things, guys. Bear with me on this moment. And we'll get back to some good old reading as well. Whilst Patchy starts warming up some more. Thank you, Unbay. Thank you for the donation. Appreciate it. It's already at 450 to play. How is the leaderboard looking now? Pasticcio is second place. Oh, Pasticio's actually knocked Zan down one place. Even with their generous donation to the new pot. Thank you, Pasticcio. Not unveiled. Nice. Oh, definitely the asymmetrical one. That looks cool. It's definitely a half kilt. Nice. That is quite cool, actually. I do like that. By your Scottish wishes. Absolutely. Let it be known. And if anybody wants to see me in my kilt, right now, it's going to be 200 subs before I do that. Maybe I'll lower that number if that takes too long, but my kilt is the full thing. So it is the... If I get that, I would have to disappear from stream for like 10 minutes to put the thing on. Because I actually have to make the pleats on the ground. It is the genuine article. So I think it's worthy of a lot to ask for it. Because normally it is something I have to... that the people have to pay to go on my tours to see. So that's how I calculated it. That's how I worked it out to do. So I have a Scottish kilt from when I was in Edinburgh. Yes, and more importantly, you called it a Scottish kilt because we have told many people the kilt was not invented in Scotland. There are many kilts from all over the world. The Scottish one is just one variety of many. The Egyptians were wearing kilts long before the Scots were, for example. But the Fala More, the belted plaid, more importantly, is the genuine one. The genuine one is the one that you wear over your shoulder. It is held up with one belt. That's where it gets its belted plaid name from. And it is a marvelous piece. Very, very nice. Mine is pink tweed. It is pink tweed. So if you'd like to see that, that's why I've bumped it up. It's a good one. But yeah. Norse kilts were made of sheep pelts. Yeah, exactly. It's worth noting that kilts were all over, not just in Scotland. It's just Scotland's kind of kept them. And we love them, and we still wear them all the time. Had many Scots tell me it's a Scottish kilt. Yeah, because most of the Scots know that we are not the only ones. Most Scots people will tell you, yes, there is a Scottish kilt, but there are many, many others. There's many, many others. Okay. Oh, Unbay. Thank you for the donations, though. Thank you. We're already at 850 in the pot. Very nice. Right. Let's get some more of this book through, shall we? We're almost finished with this book, so here we go. I have little more to say, and it's as well, for I am about done up. I went on cabbing it for a day or so, intending to keep at it until I could save enough to take me back to America. I was standing in the yard when a ragged youngster asked if there was a cabbie there called Jefferson Hope, and said that his cab was wanted by a gentleman at 221B, Baker Street. I went round, suspecting no harm, and the next thing I knew, this young man here had the bracelets on my wrist, and as neatly shackled as I ever saw in my life. That's the whole of my story, gentlemen. You may consider me to be a murderer, but I hold that I am just as much an officer of justice as you are. So thrilling had the man's narrative been, and his manner was so impressive, that we had sat silent and absorbed. Even the professional detectives, blasé as they were in every detail of crime, appeared to be keenly interested in the man's story. When he finished, we sat for some minutes in a stillness which was only broken by the scratching of Lestrade's pencil as he gave the finishing touches to his shorthand account. "There's only one point on which I should like a little more information," Sherlock Holmes said at last. "Who was your accomplice who came for the ring which I advertised?" The prisoner winked at my friend jocosely. "I can tell you my own secrets," he said, "but I don't get other people into trouble. I saw your advertisement, and I thought it might be a plant, or it might be the ring which I wanted. My friend volunteered to go and see. I think you'll own he did it smartly." "Not a doubt of that," said Holmes heartily. "Now, gentlemen," the inspector remarked gravely, "the forms of the law must be compiled with. On Thursday, the prisoner will be brought before the magistrates, and your attendance will be required. Until then, I will be responsible for him." He rang the bell as he spoke, and Jefferson Hope was led off by a couple of warders, while my friend and I made our way out of the station and took a cab back to Baker Street. Chain boots or standard boots? Traditionally, with a kilt in Scotland, you will cap your shoes with metal. So I'm going to have to say chain boots just to keep it in keeping. It is that capping which gives the shoes that clickety click click when you hear the Scottish marching bands come down the street and such, which adds to the percussion. And also adds to the percussion when we're dancing at weddings and funerals and all of the like and stuff. The big parties that we have during weddings and funerals and all manner of things. So So go with anything metal. Well, this chain makes it jingle, and my 3-inch heels makes it click. Perfect! Very in keeping. Oopa. Let's... Good games, have fun! Thank you, Unbay. It's always nice to see yourself and chat with yourself from time to time. Maybe I'll catch you when we're both live at some point and we can terrorize patchy picks for everybody else. But take care, and I imagine you're going to get yourself some good and well-earned sleep. So, good night as well. Thanks for popping by. Gothic, when I was in Scotland, I found out that I could outdrink an Englishman, a Scotsman, and an Irishman. You'll actually find that a lot of Scots drink, but we drink for pleasure. We tend to be slow drinkers for the most part. We have some heavy drinking Scots. Don't get me wrong. There are some Scots that will drink many people under the table. But we're a very chatty bunch. We're a very sociable bunch. So drinking actually tends to be a bit slower because we're too busy gabbing. We love the gossip in Scotland. We love the storytelling still. So you'll actually find... I'm not surprised people could outdrink a Scotsman. I am not going to hold pride in that we would drink other people under the table. However, I do know a few 7-foot-tall, broad, hard-working men that drink to no stupor. And by that I mean they drink and do not get drunk. And I would hazard on their part that they would contest your drinking capabilities and probably do rather well. Couldn't find my way home though. Long walk to America. Johnny Walker Blue. You like a blended whiskey? Nice. It's nice to see people actually, you know, enjoying the blended whiskeys. For eons and ages, people keep saying, oh, I must get the malts, I must enjoy the malts. And don't get me wrong, malt whiskey is something to be cherished, loved, and enjoyed. Within, you know, good and healthy proportions. But don't shun the blended whiskies. If you're somebody who tries a malt whiskey and finds it's either A, too complex, B, too fancy, and C, the most important one, too expensive, because it genuinely always is, then blended whiskies are fine. Blended whiskies are lovely. Some of them are really, really nice and well worth your time. And Johnny Walker, yeah. Johnny Walker makes good blended whiskies. I have no doubt you would enjoy it. Costume. I know my stomach can't handle alcohol well, so I tend to do things like drink several wine bottles very quickly this year. The logic doesn't math, but it maths in my head that drinking all at once is better. I do like my wine now. I wasn't such a big wine drinker to begin with, but I started to find tasty red wines. Still haven't found a white wine to my palate. But I have started to enjoy several red wines. I'm quite a fan of Rioja. I do like Rioja. Especially when you get a variety of Riojas. Some of them can send you a bit of a curveball. Some of them can be a little bittersweet. Because you're expecting a lovely fresh wine and they're actually quite impactful. And then you'll get, but they always have a charming aftertaste, a good Rioja. Good Rioja has a charming aftertaste, which I find more important. I hate having a bad taste in my mouth. So a wine that gives you a good aftertaste that lingers. And I find there's a few Riojas that I enjoy that do that. Johnny Walker Blue is absolutely the nectar of the gods. It's lovely. It's not my go-to for the blended whiskies. I like peaty whiskies, Gothic. I like them smoky, smooth, and incredibly flavorful. I really enjoy my peaty whiskies from the west coast of Scotland, the west coast distilleries, and the island distilleries. My favourite is Lefroy, which is a malt whiskey. My favourite is a malt whiskey. So after all my enjoy the blended whiskey speech, I do enjoy malt whiskey, but it's personal preference. And I don't drink very much, so an expensive bottle goes a long way with me. So I can purchase one bottle and it'll last me a long time. And so to me, that cost is not really too big a problem. If I was to drink whiskey every week, yeah, then I might start thinking twice about my whiskey of choice. One bottle of Johnny Walker Blue in my area is about $440 a bottle. Yeah, it's probably going to be about right. I'd see. I do enjoy a bit of Glenfiddich. Where's that from? Glenfiddich is made in a place called Duffton. 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 That's where you'll find Glenfiddich, which is in Murray. It's South Murrayshire. And is part of the Cairngorms. It'll be part of the Cairngorms whiskies. So you're talking Speyside. That's it. Speyside whiskies is Glenfiddich. And it's an excellent choice, Infernio. You'll get a lot of malt whiskey drinkers that might try to put you off Glenfiddich. They say, oh, everybody drinks it. To which I say, well, there's a good reason everybody drinks it. Because it's good. So it's a good choice. Again, not one of my personal favorites. It's a bit light and a little sweet. Not my go-to whiskey flavors. Like I said, I like smoky. I like the ones that put hair on your eyeballs. Merchant is so much fun. I tie it in with detective bounties as well. Jack Daniels is my standard, but I used to drink it every day on the job, cutting down trees. See, we don't call Jack Daniels a whiskey in Scotland. We make that more. We think more of that as a rye. Is that not made out of a rye or something like that? It's more closer to bourbon than it is to whiskey or something. It's corn though, not grain. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Bourbon is US only. Okay. Because, like, you'll get a lot of Jack Daniels fans in Scotland. But we don't call it whiskey. We don't call it whiskey because it's too far apart. In using the investigation board thing. Yeah. Makes for even puzzlier routes. Lots of fun, especially when you get through a few raid dens. Okay. We are about to start a new chapter in this book as well, so when I start the next raid den, I'm going to read a few pages. Not to ignore people in chat, but I'm going to try and, do a bit, read a bit. Do a bit, read a bit. We'll do it like that before it gets left behind and the poor people that did come in to hear me read miss out a little bit. I am still aware and I will still read on. It's still early in the night for me, so it's... Jack and Coke is big in Scotland. Yes. Yes. Jack and Coke is very big in Scotland. Used to serve it all the time. Jack Daniels is actually usually on the optics. That's how you know it's big in Scotland. If it's on the optics, it's popular. So, Jack Daniels, very, very popular in Scotland. We don't see much else come in. Another one that you sometimes see on the bar counter is Jim Beam, but less popular. And again, very sweet. They're so sweet, and I can't... I have a bit of a sweet tooth. I like my chocolate, I like bag treats and candies and all manners of things. But when I'm having a drink, I don't know. I never took to Jack Daniels and Coke either because the amount of sugar in Coke and such. I don't like it in my drink. I don't mind a can of Coke from time to time, but I don't want to mix it in my drink so much. I do occasionally have a rum and Coke. I like a nice rum and Coke because the rum has a bit more punch and kind of takes the sweet edge out a little bit. So you just kind of have the nice vanilla kind of flavor that Coke has through it. But, yeah. Whiskey is Scottish, whiskey in the US. We spell it both ways, Gothic. We're not that fussy on it. You'll actually find there are some Scottish whiskies spelt EY. They have been known. Traditionally in Scotland, it was spelled without the E, but I think we've had quite a few number of new distilleries. They perhaps didn't know, and they have put EY on the bottles. We also get quite a few whiskies from China. China loves whiskey, so they have made some of their own, which some actually sell in Scotland. Some of the Chinese whiskies are sold here, and we enjoy them as well, believe it or not. It's quite nice. Also, some gin has become really popular in the UK as a whole, and Japan started making some really nice gins that we drink here as well. It's we're always very adventurous, and we're not too fussy on who joins in. We're proud of our own whiskey, but we love to experience new things in Scotland. We love experiencing new people, new cultures, and their takes on some of our products, I suppose. It's if I wanted something particularly sweet, I'd probably just have a Disaronno. Oh, Disaronno. Yeah. Big fan of marzipan. I try not to drink too much Disaronno because that's a bottle I could neck. It's too easy to drink. It is too easy to drink. I love marzipan. Absolutely love it. And Disaronno to me is marzipan in a glass. I have to hold myself. You're the same, Infernio. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I have to hold myself back on the Disaronno. Oh, I have never tried that. Disaronno with almond milk. Oh, that does sound quite nice, because almond milk is naturally, well, almonds is what you use to make marzipan, so yeah, that's why the flavors complement each other. It's but yeah, that sounds good. Would recommend it. Maybe too much almond flavor, but you may love it. How do you milk an almond? With a very small bucket, Gothic, Nivik. With a very small bucket. It's or a very small pail, sorry. Very small pail. Never confuse your bucket and your pail, because one has slop and one has cream. You don't want to put one of them
Read me a page,
in your
naughty
tea.
boy.
Yes. Sea Potato. Sorry, I'm digressing again. Thank you for the page. Here we go. Thank you to Gothic Nivik. We are still well over the 20s in pages. We've got 21 pages left, so... Show me the mammary gland on their almond. They're shy. So here we go. A Study in Scarlet. Sherlock Holmes. Part 2, Chapter 7. The conclusion. Here we go, guys. Last chapter. We had all been warned to appear before the magistrates upon the Thursday. But when the Thursday came, there was no occasion for our testimony. A higher judge had taken the matter in hand, and Jefferson Hope had been summoned before a tribunal where strict justice would be meted out to him. On the very night after his capture, the aneurysm burst, and he was found in the morning stretched upon the floor of the cell, with a placid smile upon his face, as though he had been able in his dying moments to look back upon a useful life and on work well done. Gregson and Lestrade will be wild about his death, Holmes remarked, as we chatted over the next evening. Where will their grand advertisement be now? I don't see that they've very much to do with his capture, I answered. What you do in this world is a matter of no consequence, returned my companion, bitterly. The question is, what can you make people believe that you have done? Never mind, he continued, more brightly after a pause. I would not have missed the investigation for anything. There has been no better case within my recollection. Simply as it was, there were several most instructive points about it. Simple? I ejaculated. I keep using that word, ejaculated. Different times. Okay. Well, really, it can hardly be described as otherwise, said Sherlock Holmes, smiling at my surprise. The proof of its intrinsic simplicity is that, without any help save a few very ordinary deductions, I was able to lay my hands upon the criminal within 3 ways. That's true, said I. I have already explained to you that what is out of common is usually a guide rather than a hindrance. In solving a problem of this sort, the grand thing is to be able to reason backwards. That is a very useful accomplishment, and a very easy one. But people do not practice it much. In everyday affairs of life, it is more useful to reason forwards, and so the other comes to be neglected. There are 50 who can reason synthetically for one who can reason analytically. I confess, said I, that I do not quite follow you. I hardly expected that you would. Let me see if I can make it clearer. Most people, if you describe a train of events to them, will tell you what the result would be. They can put those events together in their minds and argue from them that something will come to pass. There are few people, however, who, if you told them a result, would be able to evolve from their own inner consciousness what the steps were which led to that result. This power is what I mean when I talk of reasoning, backwards or analytically. I understand, said I. Now, this was a case in which you were given the result and had to find everything else for yourself. Now let me endeavour to show you the different steps in my reasoning. To begin at the beginning, I approached the house, as you know, on foot, and with my mind entirely free from all impressions. I naturally began by examining the roadway, and there, as I have already explained to you, I saw clearly the marks of a cab, which I ascertained by inquiry must have been there during the night. I satisfied myself that it was a cab and not a private carriage by the narrow gauge of the wheels. The ordinary London growler is considerably less wide than a gentleman's brougham. This was the first point gained. I then walked slowly down the garden path, which happened to be composed of clay soil, peculiarly suitable for taking impressions. No doubt, it appeared to you to be a mere trampled line of slush. But to my trained eyes, every mark upon its surface had a meaning. There is no branch of detective science which is so important and so much neglected as the art of tracing footsteps. Happily, I have always laid great stress upon it, and must practice
Read me a
has
page,
made
you
it
naughty
second
boy.
nature to me. I saw the heavy footmarks of the constables, but I saw also the track of the two men who had first passed through the garden. It may easy to tell that they had been before the others, because in places their marks had been entirely obliterated by the others coming upon the top of them. In this way, my second link was formed, which I told myself that the nocturnal visitors were two in number, one remarkable for his height, as I calculated from the length of his stride, and the other fashionably dressed, to judge from the small and elegant impressions left by his boots. On entering the house, this last interference was confirmed. My well-booted man lay before me. The tall one then had done the murder, if murder there was. There was no wound upon the dead man's person, but the agitated expression upon his face assured me that he had foreseen his fate before it came upon him. Men who die from heart disease or any sudden natural cause never by any chance exhibit agitation upon their features. Having sniffed the dead man's lips, I detected a slight sour smell, and I came to the conclusion that he had had poison forced upon him. Again, I argued that it had been forced upon him from hatred and fear expressed upon his face. By the method of exclusion, I had arrived at this result, for no other hypothesis would meet the facts. Do not imagine that it was a very unheard of idea. The forcible administration of poison is by no means a new thing in criminal annals. Annals, sorry. Oh dear, you guys might think I have one thing on the mind all the time. The cases of Dolsky in Odessa and of Leturier in Montpellier will occur at once to any toxicologist. And now came the great question as to the reason why. Robbery had not been the object of the murder, for nothing was taken. Was it politics then? Or was it a woman? That was the question which confronted me. I was inclined from the first to the latter supposition. Political assassins are only too glad to do their work and fly. This murder had, on the contrary, been done most deliberately, and the perpetrator had left his tracks all over the room, showing that he had been there all the time. It must have been a private wrong, and not a political one, which called for such a methodical revenge. When the inscription was discovered upon the wall, I was more inclined than ever to my opinion. The thing was too evidently a blind. Then the ring was found. However, it settled the question. Clearly, the murderer had used it to remind his victim of some dead or absent woman. It was at this point that I asked Gregson whether he had inquired in his telegram to Cleveland as to any particular point in Mr. Drebber's former career. He answered, you remember, in the negative. There we go. And we got another page from C Potato. There we go. Keep the tally in good order. We still have 19 pages, so. Oh my. That ejaculation keeps catching me out. It makes me falter. It's just, I have a filthy mind. I can't help it. As well as when they're examining through anals instead of annals. Why make two words like that so close together in appearance? Could they really have not called annals anything else? I'm sure there's a good reason historically why the word came to be. But... my goodness. Sweet potato, the mammary gland is right at the top of the almond where the point is. You just gotta peel the skin off. Oh. Just strip those almonds. Imagine how many annals of history there's been. Yeah. I mean, countless, really. Gothic Mimic getting ready. Ooh. Nice. Did I, yeah, absolutely, Gothic. Did I make good choices? Does it work? Are my tastes in good order? I sure hope so, because I am rather fussy about fashion. Discord, I imagine. You'll soon see. I am committed. Cool. Let me know when it's up, please, because my Discord gets hidden by the other pages that I like to keep up. I got a second monitor and it still feels like I don't have enough space for everything. I still need to put the kilt on and corset. Alright, cool. Here we go, guys. Back to the book. I then proceeded to make a careful examination of the room, which confirmed me in my opinion as to the murderer's height, and furnished me with the additional details as to the trichinopoly cigar, and the length of his nails. I had already come to the conclusion, since there was no signs of a struggle, that the blood which covered the floor had burst from the murderer's nose in his excitement. I could perceive that the track of blood coincided with the track of his feet. It is seldom that any man, unless he is very fully blooded, breaks out in this way through emotion. So, I hazarded the opinion that the criminal was probably a robust and ruddy-faced man. Events proved that I had judged correctly. Having left the house, I proceeded to do what Gregson had neglected. I telegraphed to the head of the police at Cleveland, limiting my inquiry to the circumstances connected with the marriage of Enoch Drebber. The answer was conclusive. It told me that Drebber had already applied for the protection of the law against an old rival in love, named Jefferson Hope, and that this same Hope was at present in Europe. I knew now that I held the clue to the mystery in my hand, and all that remained was to secure the murderer. Gothic Nivik, I have 6 monitors. I have 2 monitors, but one of them is a 40-inch 4K monitor. I like my monitor, my main monitor, big. I like it to cover my periphery vision. I just find it more, what's the word? I'm trying to think of the word before, but it escaped me yesterday as well. We spoke about this yesterday. It's a TV. No, it's not a TV. It's a 40-inch monitor. It's a Asus Predator 40-inch OLED. It is very, very nice. My partner got it for me. So what happened was, not last year. Oh no, it was last year. I built my dream PC. I managed to save up enough pennies in my life. I had a little bit of cash to spend at my leisure, and I decided to build a very high-end PC. I got all the best stuff, and I was going Team Red this time. I was going AMD because they had just some really nice chipsets going out, and they had some pretty good graphics cards going out as well, whereas Nvidia was fumbling and stumbling for a little bit. So I built this grand PC. Now, I have an old PC that was fine. All it needed was a new graphics card, and it would actually be absolutely fine for gaming and streaming as well. But I didn't really need it anymore. So I was just going to give it to my partner. She could have it for nothing. But she didn't feel that was fair. So she offered to get me a new monitor for it to cost about the same. Now, my old PC was still actually quite valuable, and I didn't know, but she spent quite a lot on this monitor. So I'm very, very appreciative of it. I'm very, very fortunate. She is very generous, and I love it. This monitor means more to me than just the absolute beautiful color and blackness that it can create. My goodness. Like, when you turn the monitor on, if it has nothing to display, it doesn't look like the monitor is on. So deep is the black in color that it can create. It actually looks more turned off when it is on. It is lovely. I love it dearly, and it means a lot to me because of who gave it to me as well. I am a soft sort, so yeah, it's absolutely sat there, beloved of me, attached to Kirby, which is the name of my lovely PC, which is all white but lit up in pink. It is that is my setup. And then a little monitor to go alongside it to help with the streams. I say a little monitor. It's a 27-inch monitor. But beside the 40-inch one, it's a little monitor. Course at time. Be right back. This will take some time. Take your time. We have books to read. I had already determined in my own mind that the man who had walked into the house with Drebber was none other than the man who had driven the cab. The marks in the road showed me that the horse had wandered in on the way, which would have been impossible had there been anyone to charge it. Where then could the driver be, unless he were inside the house? Again, it is absurd to suppose that any sane man would carry out a deliberate crime under the very eyes, as if it were, of a third person, who was sure to betray him. Lastly, supposing one man wished to dog another through London, what better means could he adopt than to turn cab driver? All these considerations led me to the irresistible conclusion that Jefferson Hope had to be found among the Jarvies of the metropolis. If he had been one, there was no reason to believe that he had ceased to be. On the contrary, from his point of view, any sudden change would be likely to draw attention to himself. He would, probably, for a time at least, continue to perform his duties. There was no reason to suppose that he was going under an assumed name. Why should he change his name in a country where no one knew his original one? I therefore organized my street Arab detective corps and sent them systematically to every cab proprietor in London until they ferreted out the man I wanted. How well they succeeded, and how quickly I took advantage of it, are still fresh in your recollection. The murder of Strangerson was an incident which was entirely unexpected, but which could hardly in any case have been prevented. Through it, as you know, I came into possession of the pills, the existence of which I had already surmised. You see, the whole thing is a chain of logical sequences without a break or flaw. "It is wonderful," I cried. "Your merits should be publicly recognized. You should publish an account of the case. If you won't, I will for you." "You may do what you like, Doctor," he answered. "See here," he continued, handing the paper over to me. "Look at this." It was the Echo for the day, and the paragraph to which he pointed was devoted to the case in question. "The public," it said, "have lost a sensational treat through the sudden death of the man Hope, who was suspected of the murder of Mr. Enoch Drebber and Mr. Joseph Strangerson. The details of the case will probably be never known now, though they are informed upon good authority that the crime was the result of an old standing of romantic feud, in which love and Mormonism bore apart. It seems that both the victims belong. If the case... We're still streaming? I thought there was a little disconnection there. Okay. We're still good. Okay. In their younger days to Latter-day Saints, and Hope, the deceased prisoner, hails also from Salt Lake City. If the case has had no other effect, it at least brings out in the most striking manner the efficiency of our detective police force, and will serve as a lesson to all foreigners that they will do wisely to settle their feuds at home, and not carry them on British soil. It is an open secret that the credit of this smart capture belongs entirely to the well-known Scotland Yard officials, Lestrade and Gregson. The man was apprehended, it appears, in the room of a certain Mr. Sherlock Holmes, who has himself, as an amateur, shown some talent in the detective line, and who, with such instructors, may hope in time to attain some degree of their skill. It is expected that a testimonial of some sort will be presented to the two officers as a fitting recognition for their services. Didn't I tell you when we started? Cries Sherlock Holmes with a laugh. That's the result of all our study in Scarlet, to get them a testimonial. Never mind, I answered. I have all the facts in my journal, and the public shall know them. In the meantime, you must make yourself contented by the consciousness of success, like the Roman miser. Populus me sibilant, at mihi plada. Ipse domi simul ac nomos contempler in arca. The end. There we go, guys. We have finished 2 books altogether. And thank you, Sea Potato, for another page. I will add that. So we actually still have 15 pages left, so we can start another book. I will put up a poll. I don't know how many people are active here, but I will put up a poll of the selection books that we can do. I will add the next Sherlock Holmes book to it as well, if people are enjoying Sherlock Holmes and would actually like more of that. But you know, it's always good to give people a choice. But well done, guys. Thank you so much. 2 books in less than a month, I think, as well. We're getting through some books, and they're books that I haven't read before. I'm very jolly about this because I'm actually reading again, like in a good way. I've had difficult moments of reading for some time, so this is great. You don't know how much I'm loving this as well. Or it may be obvious, but I'm really enjoying this. What did the Latin mean? I will look it up for you, Sea Potato. Thank you, Steady. Hot step jump, it's a affair. Victory! Let me check the Latin, Sea Potato. For Latin is not my forte. I'm not going to type it all in. I'm going to put it So apparently it means the public hiss at me, but I cheer myself when in my own house. I contemplate the coins in my strongbox. That's a rough translation, but it is the most common one. People go with. Sent and recommended by accident. No problem, Gothic. It's absolutely fine. I'm not too strict on my Discord, so don't worry about it. Oh, it's looking good. was a good choice of boots. It was a good choice of boots. It works. Very nice. The half kilt looks neat, actually. I quite like that. I don't know if I'd pull it off. Well. And ignore the mess clearing out winter junk. I wasn't even focused on the mess. Looking very dapper. Looking very dapper. I like it. It's good. Very sharp. I love it. It was your choice of boots. Oh, yeah. Well, I had a good choice then. Are they not the boots that arrived last time? The Chelseas? Those are the ones that you showed us. I contemplate the coins in my strong box. Sea potato was what the Latin said. So, like, safe. They are the Chelseas. Look at me. Good eye. I haven't lost it yet. Encourages me. Sounds like the winner of Turnip's peepees. I bought the kilt because it reminded me of Darth Revan. Ooh, I am so out of touch with Star Wars right now. I've had friends that have come up with ways to try and get me back into it. They said there's actually somebody's done a nice recut of the original 3 and such, which actually gets people interested back into Star Wars, because I must admit, I've lost my love for it. I'm not going to poop on it. I'm not going to tell everybody, if they're fans of Star Wars, to give up. It's awful and it's ruined for all time, but it is lost on me. I need something to bring me back into it. Although I haven't watched Andor yet, and some people were saying that is a good one, and that would actually help as well. The Old Republic is way better than movies. I have never played Knights of the Old Republic. My partner has. But before I forget, and before we get carried away, and I digress too much as well, congratulations, guys. Thank you for finishing another book. We still have pages to go. I will make a poll. I will put up a number of other books that we can read, and I'll put the poll up for a little while. And I'll keep mentioning it every time, so we'll put it up for like 10 minutes. What shall be our next read? So we have Oliver Twist. Moby Dick. Sherlock Holmes again. We can continue with Sherlock Holmes. Wuthering Heights. And where was the other one I had written down? The Forever War. That was it. I think the Forever War was one of Steady's suggestions I nearly forgot last time. Will I allow additional votes? Would people like to spend turnips to get more votes? Hold on, I'll bring up the chat assistant on my phone so I can actually see what you're saying because the poll's taking up the screen now. If I do 5 gift subs, will you watch a cinematic for Screwtor? I would watch the cinematic without the 5 gifted subs, Gothic. I don't want to charge people subs just to watch it. If people want to give me gifted subs and if people want to subscribe to me, absolutely. I'm all down for it. I'm happy for it. I've already put up a little goal for getting it to play in my kill, and I feel like that is kind of enough. I don't want to then start billing people for doing things on stream. I can happily watch something without it. Thank you for the offer, though. You have gifted me plenty. You've given me 2 today, and you have given me subs in the past as well. So. Sand Casino is enough for now. Can't do too much. You know, I'll allow additional votes. Let's see if I can drain people. Okay, let's see.